Good evening, Wordlers. Welcome back to Wine, Wordle, and Whatever, the only podcast where we do all three of those in that order. Tonight we've got a bit of a momentous occasion of sorts, in that we're doing this on a different day, yet again, because it seems like every other week we have to record on a different day. It's just our lot in life, I suppose. But tonight we don't have any wines, because we did two last week, and we're doing this very last minute. But we do have a special treat of 9 Wordles. We have a whole 9 Wordles. And we also will go into the second half of last week's Whatever with our special guest star, Venetia. So, Will, are you
hmm
ready for 9 Wordles?
We have a whole mess of Wordles.
Yeah. But first,
A
before anything,
whole,
we do have to do our corrections.
yeah, I'm trying to think of like a synonym for mess with W. A whole, go ahead. Okay.
Okay. you'll
I'll,
you'll
I'll, I'll get back to you.
you'll mull on this.
Yeah, you have the clarifications
Yes.
though.
So while Will is mulling, I have the clarifications because once again, I am the prepared one. And most of our clarifications do in fact come from our guest star, but the first one is my own mistake. Last week I said that the Wordle 1000, the 1000th Wordle, would in fact be like the second one of what last week was the next one, but it's today's podcast. I was totally wrong. I forgot that we do a previous week's Wordle, so it was actually 2 weeks out. That's my mistake. But it isn't because we're, spoiler alert, doing it today. So there is that. So I got my numbers wrong a little bit there. But from Venetia, we have a couple of corrections. Last week in the whatever portion, she just dropped the little statement that there are more bones in the feet than in the hands. She had it backwards. There's more in the hands than there are in the feet. She was only off by one. 27 in the hands, 27 in the foot. Well, that's each foot in each hand.
Wait, what was that? How many
So
bones?
27 in each hand and 26 in each foot.
That's really close.
Yeah, no, it is. It would be easy enough to switch those backwards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So there you go, a little anatomy fact for you.
Yeah.
So the other correction that she had was about champagne versus other like sparkling wines. One thing she had said was that most like sparkling wines and perhaps even prosecco, but she wasn't sure about that. Um, she said that most of them had the CO2 put in after the fact, so they were, aged and fermented and all that, and then during the bottling process, the CO2 was put in. And that was actually a slight mistake on her part. Most of them are actually use a secondary fermentation process where they're put into a sealed bottle and they kind of ferment a little bit more in the bottle, but that produces the CO2. And we actually, I believe, get into that a little bit in this week's whatever with kombucha, and that's how kombucha also gets its bubbles. So we'll hear a little bit more about that later. But
hmm
most sparkling wines and, I mean, obviously champagne, they do not have any. They get their bubbles in the same way. They're just different wines. So there we go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty minor stuff. I mean,
yeah. She said. She said, and I quote, "I also learned most sparkling wines are also made in the second fermentation way. I know there are some wines that will have the CO2 added, but I couldn't find definitive proof of which ones and how often. I need a real expert to educate me. LOL."
I think we need another guest star
We need to find a real
that
sommelier.
specializes. I'm trying to think. I feel like we could find one on Fiverr.
We hire a podcast sommelier to come on our show.
I think that would be
I
best.
mean, they've got something for everybody on Fiverr, so that's entirely possible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, do we want to let the listeners know why we're speed running?
Um,
I mean, I'm pretty excited for the event.
yeah, we are kind of speed running
Yeah.
because so tomorrow, as of recording, tomorrow we are having a big Western themed party, and it's gonna be chili and country music and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna be a total cliche, but it's gonna be fantastic. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of last minute party prep going on at my house at the moment, and so I'm taking a brief stop from that and
Yeah,
recording
yeah.
podcasts, and I'm doing it for you listeners.
We appreciate you, Caden.
I hope they do.
Say we like I'm one of the listeners.
Well, I mean, after the recording, I mean, you do go back and listen to it,
I
right?
do. Yeah, I did actually listen to part one. And like this week, I'm like, man, I wonder what's in part two. Because I can't remember what we recorded.
I'll be honest, that is a great thing about doing them over 2 weeks because I don't remember very much. All I remember
Yeah.
is that we talked about kombucha a little bit, and I remember tabletop RPGs came in there too. So a little sneak peek for the listeners.
Yeah. We don't have wine, but I do have a beer.
What kind of beer do you
It's
have,
a
Will?
it's a Fort George Westmore IPA. I got it at Costco. Apparently, my roommate was saying Fort George has some pretty solid stuff in Astoria. But just wanted to give a little shout out since we're not doing more sophisticated wine tastings.
Yeah. I even have a less sophisticated beer. Mine's not even an IPA. I have a Blue Moon Mango Wheat beer.
Ooh,
It's
how
per-
is that?
it's pretty light. So it's easy drinking. It's not bad.
Okay. Um, have you seen completely off topic? Sorry, and then we'll get into our whole wad of wordles.
This whole wad of wordles. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna cut this short. Bye, everybody.
Have you seen the hard Mountain Dew?
You know, I have seen it, but I had totally forgotten about it, and I'm really not happy with you for bringing that back up. I don't need to know that exists. It sounds horrible.
A piece of me, I almost got a can the other day. I was like in the store, I'm like, but like, I don't want to buy it.
Yeah. Why would I want that on my credit card statement?
I'm curious. I don't know if I want to purchase it.
I mean, so let me think. We had originally decided with
Oh.
this podcast to do 10 episodes, right?
Yeah,
So just for our first run, do 10 episodes, and then we'll see if we want to keep it going after that.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
you think for episode 10 we need to do Hard Mountain Dew as a
Um,
final goodbye?
uh,
Please.
I'm looking at Reddit comments already.
Oh gosh, how scathing are they?
Um, Not fans.
Yeah,
Apparently, there's no carbonation and no sugar.
that's just
So, so it's someone said the malt liquor taste is very apparent, and they don't like that.
yeah.
Um,
I don't mind the no sugar thing. Like I don't mind it if it's not super sweet, but no
yeah, I don't
carbonation.
know. I imagine they would go kind of more of a cocktail route. Like I like sugar, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so here's the idea.
Someone said
Here,
of it's like drinking a flat semi-diet Mountain
yeah.
Dew.
So here's an idea. Now let me know if this sounds completely insane.
Uh-huh.
So based on a little bit of research, the Hard Mountain Dew sounds completely like garbage.
Pretty mid,
Yeah.
if not less. Yeah.
So what if we do this? We will try it if to
Okay.
our YouTube channel we hit 20 subscribers by the 10th episode.
Oh.
So that means we need 11 more
Oh.
subscribers.
You know what? An idea just occurred to me too.
Yeah.
What if we live stream our 20th
You
or
know.
our 10th episode?
Now that's a good idea. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But if we
Yeah.
have if we have 20 subscribers by the time we record our 10th episode, do you think we should try the Mountain Dew?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so there's some incentive for you, listeners. We will do for our 10th episode and our final of our first season, we'll call it. We will
Yeah.
we will do Hard Mountain Dew if we have 20 YouTube subscribers.
I think there's four flavors.
Let's just stick with one. Obviously the Baja Blast.
Yes, yes. Obviously.
Our Father in Heaven, Baja be thy blast.
Yeah. That's weird. They went no sugar though.
Yeah, that is
I
weird.
don't understand
So,
that.
you know,
Okay,
we will put
so
ourselves
yeah.
through pain if we have enough subscribers.
Yes, I like this. This is good.
All right, we're locking that in.
Unlike the Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, it'll be
So we
great.
got our clarifications. We kind of gave a shout out to our one. Oh, you're the host. Sorry. Go ahead.
So we got our clarifications. We kind of gave a shout out to our drinks of the evening, and we provided incentive for the listeners. I think now is a very good time to get into our wordles.
A whole wad of
A
waddles.
whole lot of them, and yeah, it's a trip.
It starts with W's. Oh,
Yeah, it does. So Thursday, March 7th. How'd you do, Will?
okay. Ah. I added them up, but I have to find March 7th. 7th, you said?
March 7th.
Oh, okay. I think I started pretty decent. Okay. Yes. The answer was clone,
Indeed.
correct? Okay. I got it in three.
Hey, so did I.
Hey, I got notch, scorn, clone.
Nice. I did raise, clove, and then clone.
Low?
Clove. C L
Clove.
O V E.
Oh. Oh, I thought I was gonna learn a new word.
Nope, not today. Yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
I was bummed with clove a little bit because so
Yeah.
close.
Yep. Just one letter.
Yep. March 8th, I got it in three.
Okay. I got it in four.
All right. I had raise, Baylor, and early.
Okay. Baylor.
One
That's a
who
good one.
bails, or a machine that bails.
You know what? Hey, we're kind of in the same here. I got it in four. I did notch, glass, bailed, early.
Oh, the Baylor bailed.
Yeah, we're on the same mind right there,
Yeah,
boys.
that's the most
I
in
like
sync I
that.
think we've ever been when it comes to doing our wordles.
Wait.
My voice just cracked there. My voice never does that.
Oh, okay. That's weird. When you so bail, like where you bail, like you abort the mission or whatever,
Different kind of
or
bail.
like you. Okay, but it says on Google, past tense is bailed. Bailed. You drop
Baled.
you dropped the I.
Interesting. That
So
seems
if you
wrong.
say so it
Because if
says
I were,
past tense.
go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Well, if I were writing it, I would keep the I in.
Yeah, but at least on this thing it says past tense of bail, like scoop water out of a boat or ship, abandon a commitment. Past tense bailed, Baled.
Oh, that's weird.
Bye bye I.
Yeah, the more you know. I would not have guessed that, and
Man.
it frankly feels wrong.
Yeah, imagine getting that as like a, what do they call them? Spelling bees?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That would be horrible. But that okay. Well, I guess yeah, okay.
Mm. It's your fun English fact of the day.
Yeah, we are so educated.
We are. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so this was March 9th. Saturday, March 9th. I got in four.
Three. Let's go.
Oh, man, you beat me. I had
Yep.
raise, trend, wear, and cheer. Wear as in WHERE.
Oh, okay. Okay. I did not cheer.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a really good
Easy.
second guess.
Yep. All skill.
Pure skill. Absolutely.
Because Notch gave me the CH. And I'm like, oh, it probably starts with CH.
Ugh, sorry, I was yawning. And then chair
Oh.
obviously gave you the R at the end.
You can tell Caden's had a long day.
Well, you know what? I do it for you listeners.
Yeah. It's a special episode, 1000 boys.
Yeah, but we're not there yet.
Oh, okay. I'll
Mm,
wait. I'll hold my excitement.
yeah. Oh man, I should have got like a party whistle or something. like one of the
Oh,
noisemakers.
is there a way we can do a thing and
Oh wait, yeah, we could do a Discord
yeah,
soundbite. Hold on.
yeah, it'll capture it
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it
when it
at
comes.
1,000.
Yeah, I like this.
Okay. Well,
I like this podcast.
that makes one of us. So this was Sunday the 10th. I got it in 4.
4.
All right. Raise, trash, brass, and grasp.
Dude, nice.
Yeah, very logical guesses.
Yeah. Notch. Plaid? How do you
P
spell
L A
plaid?
I D.
Huh?
PLAID.
Yep, plaid.
Let's go. Plaid.
Bear in grass.
What was your third one?
Bear.
Spell that.
Like a spare tire.
Oh, spare. Okay, I thought you said bear, as in BEAR. Oh, Will is gone. He just completely disappeared. So that's fun. I guess you get me all by myself. He must have lost his Wi-Fi or something. So, how are you guys?
I don't even know it. Okay.
Welcome
I'm
back,
not
Will.
even joking. So I was thinking this earlier today because it was brought up how I always leave the chat at some point.
Uh-huh.
It's always unintentional. And today I'm thinking, you know what? No, like I have all my stuff. Like I am fully set. I'm not leaving this mic. And then all of a sudden my like laptop decided to update its video drivers or something and the screen went black.
Oh my gosh.
And then it badoop badoop. And then it like the resolution changed and then it came back and
Oh my
Discord was
gosh.
closed.
The one time you were prepared, the universe just decided to say no.
Yeah. I'm concerned. Okay. But I'm back.
Okay. So yeah, it was spare. I thought you said bear. Moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, now Windows just pinged me. Hey, your video updated or whatever. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
no kidding.
Yep.
I detected that
Restart
too.
required. I'm not restarting.
All right, Monday the 11th. How'd you do?
Oh, this was rough, man. Not gonna
Perfect
lie.
score?
No, not quite, but a 5.
I got it in 3.
It was a pesky little one.
Yeah, man, it was real pesky.
That
Raise,
was the answer.
yeah, it was. Raise, slept, and pesky.
Dude. That is a leap from
Yeah, just a little.
That's awesome.
But I'm a good Wordle player.
Yeah. That's
Although I mean,
still
it's not a huge leap because after slept, I had the S, the E, and the P in the wrong place. So I had eliminated the E at the end and the E in the middle, and
hmm
the S at the end, the S at the second from the end, and the beginning. So it was like it felt like an ES kind of scenario,
mm.
and then the P often, precedes that.
It always feels wrong when the word ends in Y
I could see
to
that.
me. Yeah, because I'm like, "Well, really, guys? There's so many words that end with Y."
That's what makes this a difficult game.
Yep. I did notch, grime, like, dirt,
Yeah, I got you.
grime, beady, gave me that Y, and I honestly didn't know what to do here because I only had the E and the Y. And so I just typed a word and I got pulse. But
Okay.
thankfully that gave me the P, the S, and I was able to get pesky from it. I was thankful because I was not too happy. But
So
Wordle people are looking after me.
yeah, they got you.
Yep.
It's a Tuesday. I got this one in 3.
4.
I had raise, chafe. Chafe is back at it again, and then
Ooh.
heave. Heave being the answer.
Okay, I got it in 4. I did notch, share. Let me look this one up.
Oh no,
I
what word
I,
is
I
this?
want to make sure I say it right. Um, Heme,
Spell that.
Heame.
Heme. I've never heard that word.
Yeah, it's a it's an interesting
It
one.
looks like it's a Scottish word.
Uh, I got it again at those foreign words. Um,
Okay, so
yeah,
okay,
this
so
one.
it's like an old Scottish term for home. It looks like,
Uh,
which makes sense. Hame. I'm
yeah,
gonna go
go
hame.
heme. Mm-hmm. Go to the. Oh, what was the other Scottish words we had?
Rave. It was rave.
Oh, the rave. Is it gonna be a rave? It's your heme.
Yeah.
That's
So that's
great.
fun.
Actually, there is a Webster definition.
Ayo.
Um,
What does it say?
it's a deep red iron containing prosthetic group C34H32 in 404 Fe of hemoglobin and myoglobin.
However, Will, that is spelled without the aim. The A. It's Heme. Heme. As
Whoops.
in hemoglobin.
Well, now the listeners know what Heme means.
Heme. There's different kinds of heme.
Yep. Which one are you? Take this quiz to
Take
find
this
out.
take this BuzzFeed quiz to find out.
Okay. Yeah. That was that one. But I was happy because I got heme and then heave. Like you just
Yeah,
changed
I
the
would
E
hope
for
you
V.
you got heave after that.
Yep. I was happy with that.
Yeah, that's a word. This one took me 4, and I had
Um,
this is Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Okay.
took me 4. What did
This
you?
um 5?
Okay,
5, yep.
okay. I had raise, then plant, a foul, and local.
Nice.
Yeah, a foul is one that I was thinking of, that I thought of
Yeah.
in that moment, that I'm like, oh, this is a good word to keep in my pocket.
Foul. How do you spell that?
Afoul, a foul.
Oh, a foul. Okay. I did notch, copper,
Wait, spell that.
Coper.
Okay, that would be Coper.
Oh, Coper.
Yeah, this is
I
this is
thought it.
another this is another manned scenario. Copper has 2 P's.
Okay. I was like, I don't think that's how it's spelled, but I'm gonna say it aloud.
Yeah, usually when it's something like that, just the single letter in the middle, often it has the long vowel before it. So like Coper or maned.
Oh. Oh, a little English lesson there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Merriam-Webster defines it as a horse dealer, especially a dishonest one, somebody
Oh
who sells
no.
horses. So like a used car dealer, but with horses.
What a coper.
What a Coper! Gosh. Although it is, according to Merriam-Webster, a British word, so it'd be more like, what a Coper in it.
In my
Oh, that
heme.
that man's quite a Coper in it.
I like that's like I like British accent.
I'm not gonna keep
Okay.
keep that up.
No, it's okay.
Thank you.
Uh I just like the accent in general. I spent the other day with a British guy, like doing some work with him.
Hmm.
It's
It's a good
he's
accent.
fun. Yeah, he's fun. Like some of their sayings. I can't remember any of them right now, but
They
they're
call
fun.
elevators lifts.
Oh yeah, I think he did.
Chips are called crisps, and French
Ooh.
fries are called chips.
Okay. I didn't hear him say that.
Yeah,
He's an interesting guy. He's cool though.
cool. So,
Okay.
what did you do after Coper?
Folic.
Oh my goodness. Spell that.
You thought this was gonna be a short episode.
Yeah.
Folic. To be fair, the first 4 days I was normal.
That's true. It only took this long. Okay, so it's folic is in folic acid.
Yeah.
Got it.
Or in other words, folate,
Yes, but
the B9.
yeah, vitamin B9, the classic. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So
It's
folic, okay.
good for preventing and treating low blood levels.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yep. And locus,
Okay.
is that how you say it? Um,
Yeah, I mean it would be locus.
yeah. Yeah, Locus.
Yep.
And then local.
All right. How you ended up with locus
Oh.
before local?
That was
I'll
a
never know.
weird day. That was
Yeah, that
Wednesday.
was a weird day. You had
Wednesday.
three like Wordle moments.
I'm not sure what was happening on Wednesday. Maybe the sun looked at me weird.
You didn't have enough vitamin B9. You needed to take some folic acid supplements.
Yeah, do you know what locus means?
A particular point or place.
Yeah, I just learned this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I
How
th-
would you use it in a sentence?
um. Let me think. So the coper is at this locus here. That's how I would use it in a sentence.
Oh, okay. Got it. Oh, it looks like it's mostly used for like research papers.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. In a very formal, like academic kind of setting,
Yeah,
or in like
like
engineering or something.
the points in the resulting locus were all the same distance away from the intersection.
Oh, the
Yeah.
copers at the resulting locus were all the same distance away.
Yeah, very formal.
So many copers.
I was very fancy that day.
That's one way of putting it. Okay,
Okay.
we're getting sidetracked.
Yep, sorry.
No worries, no worries. That's
Okay.
just how
We're
this
almost there.
podcast
We're
always
almost
goes.
there.
Wordle 999. Yesterday, Thursday the 14th, I got him for.
3.
I had raise, piste, Piste, singe, and since.
Oh, I got sense as an answer too.
Hey, what do you know?
I'm so sorry. Okay. Notch, snack. I was hungry when I did my Wordle.
Never Wordle
And then,
hungry.
but I was like, oh, sense. Because I had the S, the N, and the C. So sense.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Will, do you know what a piste is? Because
A
this
piece?
is the first time in Wine Wordle and whatever history where I have played an oddball word.
Wait, that's the one you used earlier, right?
No, I didn't use piste.
Oh, a piece?
A foul.
Oh, piece.
Yeah, I use the word is Piste.
P?
Piste.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you know what it is?
I just looked it up.
Oh, cool. So did I. Because I kind of knew what it was, but I wouldn't be able to define it.
Yeah, see, you said it with such confidence. I'm like, oh, he knows what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Like I kind of knew like vaguely what it was, but I wouldn't be able to like define it.
yeah. So educate the listeners.
It is a ski run of compacted snow.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So
Oregon's
it's like,
Oregon's kind of a semi-popular skiing state. You would think I would know a little bit more of that, but
oh, for sure. It's like the marked ski run or path down a mountain
hmm
that's used for like skiing, snowboarding, other mountain sports. It's kind of like a trail.
yeah, but for sliding on the snow.
Hmm.
William,
It says the word is pronounced using the long E sound
Peast.
so that it rhymes with beast.
Yep.
So pieced.
Pieced.
Yeah.
How many times can we say it before the listeners get annoyed?
Pieced. Before they get pieced.
So, Will,
Okay.
I think it's
Mm-hmm.
time to move on
Yes.
to the momentous
Okay.
occasion that we have all been here for, that we've waited
Introduce it.
for. This is Wordle 1000. Wordle
That was
1000.
beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
Let's
you.
go.
You know, when this is over, you know what's going to happen?
What?
I will be sad.
Aww.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe we shouldn't incorporate the soundboard into our into our recording.
I was about to say, is this a regular thing now?
I guess so.
Okay. Oh no.
Yeah, no,
But yes,
we got to
Wordle
keep a lid on that.
1000.
Wordle
We did it.
1000. This is a
Congrats,
momentous occasion.
listener. Let's go.
This is a very momentous occasion.
I'm gonna take a sip of beer.
I got this in what we consider to be kind of the average. I got this in 4.
4 as well. What a way to get it.
I know. My mom was happy because she bested me. She got it in 3.
Yep. Good job,
And the
kids,
prior day
mom.
too. But yeah,
Hmm.
so Will, walk us through how you landed on this one.
Oh, I go first.
Yeah. I mean, this is Wordle
Um,
1000, and you're the one that kind of started it all with us in Wordle, so it only seems fitting.
oh, thank you. Because we have good words,
Oh,
boys.
do we really?
I don't know. I don't know what one of them is, but you might, because you're smarter
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
when it comes to English.
Anyways,
Notch, trail, dirt,
spell that.
Sturt.
Sturt. That is
Dirt
interesting.
with an S.
I've never heard of that word.
I think it's fitting for Wordle
It's
1000.
another Scottish word.
Let's go.
Merriam-Webster defines it as contention.
The thing I'm looking at here says it's obsolete too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was with my homies at the rave at my home, and we got into a bit of a sturt.
Oh, I love this.
I was
That's
with my
great.
friends at the rave in my home. We got into a bit of a start.
Oh, we're gonna learn a whole new
I
language by the
know.
end of this.
We're gonna learn obsolete Scottish slang from just William's Wordles.
Oh, that's so great. That makes me so happy. That's the way to do Wordle 1000.
That is. I mean, not only is it a word that makes no sense whatsoever, but it's a Scottish word that makes no sense whatsoever, which is just
Yeah,
peak William Wordle gameplay.
that makes me so happy. And then I got erupt from
Oh my gosh. I had raise and then merch and then trend and then erupt. I was boring by comparison.
merch. That reminds me, we have a new. No, I'm kidding.
Can you imagine? That would be a heck of a way to announce new merch.
Yeah, the big brain.
We didn't think about that.
No, I did like when you go to share it, the like Wordle results with someone over text or whatever. It has the little cheer emoji.
It did. It did. It had a little like party popper emoji on it.
Yeah, that's what it's called. I at first I saw you guys posting it with the that emoji. I was like, "Oh, are you guys adding it? That's cool." And then I did my Wordle. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah. All right.
it's
So
included."
now the moment we've been waiting for, the total and average. How'd you do, Will? Over 9 Wordles
Um,
this time. So our
yeah,
totals are going to be
yeah.
higher than usual.
Okay. I feel like I did pretty good. I got some threes and fours.
All right.
35.
All right. I had 32
Okay.
for an
Okay.
average of 3.6.
Ooh, I wasn't that far off. 3.88888 repeating, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mine repeats like my decimal point repeats like I don't know 12-ish times, and then it's point 55555555556.
Because it has to round it. It
Apparently,
has to end the
has to end at some point. So wait,
yeah.
does yours do that too? Does yours round off the last one?
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
it's eight
okay.
eight 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 eight
So
eight nine.
gotcha. So that's a Windows calculator. So mine is 3.55 repeating, of course.
Have you ever I mean, you probably know this as an accountant, how important it is like when you're like, "Oh, it has a 99% success rate." Is very different than if it has a 99.99 success rate.
Yeah, no, that's very different. Those are very different
Yeah,
numbers.
you're talking 1 in 100 is it errors out,
Or one in
or
1,000.
1 in 10,000
Wait,
if you go out two decimal places,
yeah, you right.
which is like huge.
Mm,
So that's kind of, I've always thought that's kind of cool. It's amazing. You just add an extra point 0.9 or whatever, and a leading 9, and it it's significant.
yeah, it's a big deal.
Yep. That was all I had.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
think that's pretty much it for us today. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
How
because now we
long?
just have to hop this in before the rest of our conversation last week with Venetia.
It just feels weird. Like,
Yeah, it feels like we should be on for quite a bit longer.
yeah, but you got Rice Krispie treats to make.
I do have a lot of Rice Krispie treats to make.
I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Oh, I did get a deal today, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I can give that a shout out. It's kind of a running thing.
absolutely. I mean, the deal of the week
So,
is great.
yeah, yeah. So, well, I was looking for shoes for tomorrow, like
Mm-hmm.
kind of more wedge, like, because all I have are like black dress shoes. It's like I want something that has like a tan color to it. Plus, I've been wanting tan shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Went to DSW. I think they had. How much were they? I think they were like, you know, DSW. They do like the original, and then they're like, oh, but it's this much in our store.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if it ever sells for the original, but like it is what it is. The original was like 90, and they're like, hey, but in our store we sell it for 60. And this particular pair was on clearance for 40. And then I signed up for their email to get 10% off and checked out at 37 bucks.
Nice.
So I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah,
37
that's
bucks for like some shoes.
nice.
Yeah. That was, I think that's kind of my only deal. Um yeah. Okay. Should I sign us off then?
I think at this point it would be good to sign us off, and then we can let um past us and
Let
Venetia take the reins.
Yeah, yeah. Uh have you ever had, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had like the chocolate Rice Krispies or any other kind of Rice Krispies?
Um, never like the prepackaged ones from the store. I've had like the normal ones.
Mm,
However, I most of the time I just make them myself because they're significantly
yeah.
better.
Yeah. Because they make other kind of varieties.
Yeah,
I'm looking.
I've never bothered to have them.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, because truthfully, I've had them, and then I've also like made them myself a bunch of times, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not anywhere near as good when you buy them from the store.
Yeah, and if you do it yourself, you can control the ratios.
Yeah, exactly. How
Marshmallow.
sticky
Like,
versus how crunchy.
yeah. Do you go more crunchy or sticky?
Um, Let me think. I kind of split the difference.
Would you rather have it not enough marshmallow or too much marshmallow?
That is a good question. I would
Mm-hmm.
probably rather have not enough. But like
Okay.
it depends on what you're talking about. If it's like not enough so much that it like just doesn't hold together, then that's different.
Yeah, no, I would say like yeah, because if you don't add enough, then it's just cereal.
Yeah. But
That's
actually,
no
I
bueno.
would say if I have any leaning on the ones I make myself, I
Mhm.
tend to make them a little bit more onto the cereal side than the marshmallow side.
Okay, cool. I respect that. I like some good crunch in my Rice Krispie.
Yeah, and I part of that is because I absolutely hate having sticky hands.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay.
so
I
I
just
mean marshmallow like cleans up really easy, but like I don't like super sticky Rice Krispies
no, well, and if you're at a party,
for sure.
then you have to carry hand sanitizer with you and napkins and a handkerchief and like a blowtorch. And it's this whole
Oh
thing.
yeah, don't even get me started on the amount of paper clips you'd need for that.
Yeah. Okay. I just did a quick search. Apparently Walmart has peep shaped Rice Krispie treat.
On that note, please sign us off.
Yes. Okay. All right, listeners. Thank you all for subscribing to our YouTube channel so we get the opportunity to try hard Mountain Dew. We look forward to it.
20
But only if we
subscribers
get
by our 10th episode and we'll do it.
yeah. But if only if we get 20. So make sure you tell your friends and tell them to tell their friends and um
Turn this
we
into a
need to
pyramid scheme.
yeah, but it's free. So like what's the harm? Thank you again for listening. And I will let past us take it from here. We will see you all next week. We don't know what day we do these things now.
We try for
So,
Thursday, but we see how
but
it
you
goes.
know what? If you're subscribed, you don't even have to worry about missing an
Let's
episode.
go. Subscribe, hit the bell icon.
Thank y'all again, and bye bye.
Later. So, anyways, moving on
Okay.
to our
Okay, wait.
regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I got one more question though.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you said you have a half marathon coming up.
Yes. Yep. I'm
Are
gonna
you
die.
wearing your zero shoes for that?
Yes. Yeah, I will be. For sure.
Okay. Is it trail or road? Or
It
like,
is it's mostly trail. It's at Minnewaska State Park. And so it is like there are a lot of trails, but there's certain parts where it's like pavement road. But it is mostly trail.
I would much rather trails than pavement.
hmm
okay.
In
Yeah.
theory, I
So I'm
don't run.
gonna and the half marathon is April 21st. And I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen the past few weeks. And so I have not been running as much as I want to or need to in order to condition myself enough for the whole thing. So I will probably barely make it.
It's okay. You can cram last minute for stuff like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. My
Uh,
body will just die on the pavement. It'll just like
yeah.
If you die in a half marathon,
yeah.
that's a little embarrassing. Because it's like the
Mm-hmm.
marathon was for that one guy who
I
ran,
know,
and it's like he died.
right?
And so it's understandable if you die at the end of a marathon, but a half marathon,
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
half
my
marathon's
you'd
a
never
little
gosh,
bit
made it in
Jaden.
better.
ancient Greece.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
bud.
no.
No.
But it is weird because it's like some guy ran to the city of Marathon, 24.2 miles or whatever it is, um, and he died. So now to honor him, we just run it and don't die.
Mm.
Essentially.
Anywho, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so
What?
what's like the furthest you've ran so far, and what's your pace been?
Oh man, it's terrible. Like I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed to say. Like
Okay, you don't have to say the
I no
pace.
no
What's
no.
the
I'll
furthest?
I'll still tell you. I'm just saying it's
Yeah, yeah.
embarrassing. Like you're gonna when I tell you how I like am not gonna make it. But I have to do say like I enjoy running, but it's not my thing. My thing is more weightlifting. I love strength stuff. So like I did the Tough Mudder back in last year. Last year I did the Tough Mudder and that was more mental and it was more of doing like a bunch of obstacles. Even though that was a 5K and I ran most of it, but it was mostly just obstacles. So I can run a 5K no problem. Um I think with training, the most that I like since I've been running and training, the most I've run is like 5.5 miles, but my pace is like only 13. So it's a slow. It's a
Yeah,
slow run. I
that's still
need to
cool
get
though.
down. I need to get down to like a 10. Um yeah, I need to get down to a 10 and I need to get my mileage up by next month.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to be in a lot of pain.
If it's any consolation, you would leave me completely in the dust.
Wait, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
well, we wish the best to you.
Thank
That's
you.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I do
I'll
hope to
let
do a half marathon soon.
do it, man.
So,
Totally do it. It's
hmm
even if you don't think you're ready for it, like me, just do it. Do it anyways cuz it's just
yeah,
a fun. I love pushing my body um or pushing myself mentally and like physically past points that I think I can do, because then it shows you how far you can actually go, because you'll get to a point where you're just like, I'm gonna die, like I can't do this anymore. And then it's funny to like, or not funny, but it's just, I guess, amazing to see that inner strength that comes out of you, to where you're just like, nah, I'm not giving up, and you just keep pushing it past the limit that you thought you had. And I love doing that. So
yep,
yeah, totally do it. I
there
definitely recommend it.
cool.
Huh?
that reminds me of last November when we were elk hunting. We were in
Mm.
the Eagle Cap Mountains over in Eastern Oregon, and
Mm-hmm.
it's rough country, and it was a backpacking hunt. So what we did was we knew some people in the area who had horses, and we had brought a bunch of stuff up with the horses and made a base camp. And for a couple of days, Dad and I went out and we lived off our backs for a couple of days. So we went out to and made a little satellite camp about 4 miles away from our main camp. Well, it was the first week of November, and weather is just delightfully inconsistent in the mountains of the first
Mm-hmm.
week of November.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
when the right before we brought in base camp, it had dumped a bunch of snow, and it had been slowly kind of melting off over the past few days before then. But then we had more weather come in. So Dad and I walk out. We spend the first night. The first night is pretty clear. It's pretty comfortable. There's a little bit of snow and stuff to clear for our camp, but for the most part, it's fine. Then the next day, the day is clear, but that night we're supposed to be getting some rain that moves in, and boy did it ever. And so it starts raining on us. We're camped under a tarp, um, just on the ground, and it's raining through the night. We get up in the morning. A good portion of our stuff is pretty wet, but we're just like, okay, this is ridiculous, and the weather's probably gonna only get worse from here. So we have to hike out. Oh boy, this was one of the most difficult, demanding hikes I have ever had to do, and it was just the most miserable experience. So
Oh.
it wasn't particularly long. It was only about 4.5 miles. However, there was 1,800 feet of elevation gain and 1,400 feet of elevation drop.
Dang. Dang. Oh my
So
goodness.
we go up the mountain and then down the other side. And add to
Oh.
that the fact that, we were carrying a good portion of gear, 40,
Yeah.
50 something pounds of gear. And, some of that was wet too, so it made it a little heavier. And it is raining. It is raining really, really hard. It is about as cold a rain as you can get and still have it be rain. And so we're just, almost soaked through. We had like rain gear, but it was like at the limit of what rain gear can even help you with. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just super cold, super rainy, and we were just like soaking wet. And with snowmelt and all the rain on the mountains, we
Mm-hmm.
crossed probably a dozen little like drainage streams that weren't there when we went over the first time,
Oh
coming off the
man.
back of the mountain. And we were genuinely concerned of the amount of moisture on the muddy backside of the mountain. Is
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
it was an absolutely horrible hike.
yeah.
But I'd do it
Man.
again.
I get that for sure.
Yeah, no, it was a
Oh
lot of
man.
fun, but it was tough. And then the next day
Yeah.
we hiked out. We hiked the like 5 miles out. to the road.
That takes a lot of endurance, though. Like, even though, like, you're not a runner per se, you could last, because like it takes a lot of endurance to get through stuff like that.
The endurance is I'm not fast, but I don't
Oh,
slow
I'm not
down.
either.
Endurance is kind of
That's
my thing, because it's
no,
like
that's the key.
I've noticed this too. Like Will, when you and I were playing pickleball, we hit the hour and a half mark, and you're starting to get tired, but I'm still ready to go, and I'm like, let's go, let's keep going, like 3 hour marathon pickleball.
I love it. I loved the pickleball mention with, was it last week's or the week before that you guys mentioned it?
2 weeks
the
before,
Two
podcast.
weeks,
I think.
2 weeks,
2 weeks.
yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. You play?
Okay, well, no, I've only just heard people complain about it.
Oh, like the noise it makes?
No, I've heard people complain that they don't like pickleballers, which was really funny to hear that you guys started playing
Interesting.
pickleball.
Is this
Yeah.
coming from
Like-
tennis people?
I
Is
don't
it
know.
because pickleballers just like always talk about pickleball?
I don't know. It might be. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know anything about pickleball, and so
did
I could
notice-
not tell you.
Yeah, I did notice a drop in our demographic. I don't know. I was
And
wondering why that one got half the amount of.
angry tennis players, obviously. It's like on
Yep.
on Spotify, I think our podcast is categorized under leisure, if I remember right,
Yeah, we lost our ping pong audience and our tennis audience.
because pickleball splits the difference.
Yep, that's what happens.
No, so it's like, the tennis players are like, you call this leisure, and the ping pong players are just like, not leisurely enough.
Yeah. Well, to each
love
their
it.
You
own.
can't please everybody.
Yeah.
No.
So you
Okay.
got any more questions for me, Will?
I
We
wanna
haven't
know-
even
there
hit
was.
any of them. Well, we've hit two
I
of them.
wanna
Yeah.
know-
I mean, we've
well-
hit a couple. I bet we could blast through some of the last ones.
Yeah,
Some of the
yeah,
ones on
yeah.
the- Yeah.
I
we
was
could get-
actually just getting interested in like the running thing, just because I
Yeah.
started taking that up. Okay, cool. I learned-
running is great. Like I said, it's not my favorite. If I had a choice, I would definitely lift weights because I like the feeling of being strong, and I'm more of an endurance person too. So I would much rather go like rucking, which is basically just like walking with a backpack. It's basically like backpacking with a load. As opposed to running, if I were to choose to do like something like similar to just walking or doing something else. But running is very therapeutic once you hit your stride. So
Okay.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
running.
Now, when you're recovering after running, do you drink
Yes.
kombucha?
There we go. Segue.
Look at that!
There
Let's
it
go.
Look
is.
at that segue, man. I do drink a lot of kombucha. It is a wonderful elixir of life. Some call it the tea of immortality.
Oh, okay. So what are
Yep.
some of
Wine
the
Wordle and whatever does not endorse these claims, and they.
Yes. Full disclaimer. Kombucha, there are, if you're people throw around a lot of things about kombucha, like all the health benefits. Like it literally does, I think, have the name or nickname of the tea of immortality, but there aren't very many studies on humans. There's a ton of studies, I think, on mice, but there aren't very many studies on humans as far as like the health benefits. Will's
We
laughing
just
at
keep
me.
coming
This
back to mice.
I'm just the mental image of like, here, little micey, take the kombucha.
Go drink
Yeah.
And you just see
tea.
the mouse with a really tiny straw, and he's just like, oh.
I was picturing like a dropper, like here,
Yeah. There you go.
and he's
Oh,
like,
man.
oh, and then the
Yeah.
scientists were like, well, he liked that.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Oh, look at that.
Fill up those
It's
little
improving
gerbil
his mood.
bottles with the little thing on the side of the
And
cage.
they're just like licking it.
Yeah, they got 2 bottles, one with water, one with kombucha, and whichever one they go to.
Which one do they prefer?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But
Actually,
yeah.
that doesn't sound like a very controlled experiment.
Mm-mm. Not so much.
Fun fact: I did take statistics in high school, so.
That is, yeah. No, that, yeah.
I took
I do know this.
statistics in college, Will, so.
Oh,
Oh,
look at that. He
okay.
one-upped you right
Yeah.
there.
I
got
could
your
tell you so
TI-84?
much more about bell curves and distribution than this guy. Don't even.
I
Just
didn't
mess
go to
with it.
school, so so
Venetia's like, bell, huh? Bong.
yep. Yep.
Okay, well, okay. To begin with,
Yes.
though,
Yes.
what is kombucha?
It is fermented tea. Essentially, like your most basic explanation, it is fermented tea.
Okay, so like
Yep.
you make tea and just let it sit for a couple weeks,
Mm,
and you sprinkle
that
some
would
yeast
be
in,
that. Hey, there you're getting closer. You're getting closer. So
and then
basically,
you dip it in some bread.
How do you dip tea into bread?
You find a way. I think that would ferment it.
Life finds a way.
life. Oh man.
Okay,
Call
no,
back.
no, no, no,
Call
no.
back to previous podcasts.
Oh yeah, you'll have to listen to the other episode 3,
Jurassic Park.
listeners, to get our
Jurassic Park.
reference.
Yep.
And while you're there, make sure you follow our channel, like and subscribe.
That's right.
Um,
Like and subscribe. There's a Spotify and there's a YouTube channel. Make sure you follow and subscribe to both.
Yep, it helps the algorithm.
It does.
Okay,
Anyways,
no, no,
yes.
no. But how do you? What is it like?
Kombucha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you had asked me too, like how long I have been making it. Me personally, I've probably only been making it for, I think since I moved here, only for a year, but I made it before in California off and on. So remember how I told you my parents are like super hipsters and they fermented everything. They made wine, beer, and everything. My mom also was into kombucha. So she started making kombucha like 10 years ago, I want to say. At least 10 years ago. And she made like sauerkraut, kimchi. She was in, like, she loved all the fermented foods. What was some other stuff she made? Oh, kefir. So you know the milk kefir, it's like the yogurt. There's also water kefir or kefir. Some people pronounce it differently. She did.
Will, I
She
think
also
you
made
played
that.
that in Wordle at some point.
Probably.
I
Probably.
feel like
It's
you have.
Kefir.
Yeah, you did. You did, and we talked about it.
You did. You did. You did. And even when you guys tried to pronounce it, I was like, it's kefir.
For the listeners, I am looking it up on my phone right now.
There you go. It's either different people pronounce it different ways. I grew up with
Okay.
my mom pronouncing it as kefir, and then as I got into it more on my own, I found that it was actually supposed to be pronounced as kefir. And so that's how I started just pronouncing it. But I'll use in both of them interchangeably, like GIF and JIF. So
Well, you better hope Josh doesn't
Um,
listen to this.
I know.
Okay.
I'm doing that on purpose, man.
Okay. Sidebar.
Another tangent.
No, this
great.
is short. I'll end it.
Okay.
Which do you use, or do you just use either?
I use them interchangeably because I grew up saying GIF. I grew up saying that because like the GIF was invented when I was little. So
Yep.
like that's how we started saying it from the time it first became a thing. And so, and then as time went on, all of a sudden everybody started saying, I don't know when it happened, that everybody started calling it a GIF as opposed to a GIF. Like the pronunciation changed in the world. And so just to be, I don't know what the word is,
But everything
accommodating.
changed when the GIF
Yeah.
nation attacked.
Mm.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly. So
Yep.
I just started pronouncing it as GIF because as soon as I said GIF, people were like, what? No, that's not how you, like, they would make an issue out of it. And so I'm like, I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm like, fine, I'll call it a GIF.
I really
But
don't
I will-
care either.
Yeah, you don't care
I
either.
use them. I'll use them interchangeably. There was a time when I first started hearing people say GIF, because it was different from how I knew it was pronounced. I knew it was pronounced. I was just like, why are you calling it GIF? It's JIF. Like I would argue with people and be
Mhm.
like, no, it's pronounced JIF. That's how it's always been pronounced. And then then it would spark arguments, and then I was just like,
There's much more important hills to die on.
Exactly. And so I'm just like, I use both interchangeably. It just depends on who I'm with. If I'm with younger people, I'll say GIF, or more opinionated people, I'll say GIF. But if I'm with millennials or people my age or older, I'll say JIF.
Oh, okay. So you've noticed that there is a demographic, though. Older
There
people
is, yeah.
say GIF
I must
and
be an
younger
old soul
people
because
say GIF.
I use them fairly interchangeably, but I lean towards GIF.
Yeah,
Okay.
I lean towards GIF as well because that's what I was just from the time it was invented, like, because it was like what in the early '90s, or mid '90s or something like that. I can't remember when like it was invented. That's just how I've always known it as. So
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
default for me.
Yeah, I use GIF,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't make a big deal out of it. But like if I say it, I will say GIF. If
Mm-hmm.
people say GIF or GIF, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like personally, I always say GIF just because it's like, well, the guy that invented it wanted it to be called that. So
Yeah.
that's clear cut to me. I respect the
Yep.
man, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What was it?
okay.
Choosy developers choose GIF or something like that. I forget what he said to like
Yeah.
clear it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yes, kombucha though.
Yes, kombucha.
I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen it like it's in stores all over the place. Especially like
Mm-hmm.
we have a hipster crowd over here in the Pacific
Oh yeah.
Northwest. It's all over the
Oh yeah.
place.
For
Uh,
sure.
and I've tried it a handful of times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love it. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
okay, but it's not like, oh, you know what? I feel like kombucha. I would never
Yeah.
go to the store wanting kombucha.
Yeah. I understand that. I was, how do you say it? Like I guess I was raised on it or indoctrinated with it. and like I was indoctrinated with a lot of fermented foods, a lot of things that people don't normally like. I grew up with. And so kombucha is one of them. And my mom made it all the time. She made it every week and I helped her with it. So it's kind of a second nature to make it for me. And when I moved here, I had been wanting to make kombucha. And I would go and I'd buy it at the store, but I don't really like the ones in the store because they're not as, and this is going to sound funny, they're not as strong as I want them to be. I like a really strong flavor. I like them to be extra fermented and to be super tangy. And they don't do that. Like not that they don't do that, it's just the bacteria dissipates because it's been stored for so long, so it doesn't have that sharpness anymore.
That really strong,
So
like vinegary taste.
yeah. I love that taste. I do. I know. I'm
Oh
a weird
well,
one.
next time she comes down,
I'm
we
a
need to
weird one.
bring her to the Durant Vineyards, Will, where they've got all those fancy vinegars.
Oh, have you been there?
No, I
Have you
haven't.
tasted like good olive oil? Like just
Yes.
raw? Yeah.
I love good olive oil. Oh
Yep.
man, it's so good.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So GIF was invented in 1987. So it
Oh, it's
Ooh.
that
goes
old.
back
Wow.
quite a ways.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah.
I
The more
wonder
you know.
when like when we're, I don't know. We'll have to we'll go on a tangent later, but I wonder when like it became more
Popular, widely used.
Yeah.
yeah, widely used.
I would say
Yeah, or like because
probably.
with computers and stuff, like it was more of like a home, like in-home kind of thing, normal with computers, and because the internet didn't start taking off
Yeah,
until.
I would say like late aughts. You started to see it just about everywhere, or like mid to
Mm-hmm.
late aughts. You started to see it just about everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
especially in the
Yeah.
early teens, it was all
Mm-hmm.
over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
The Tumblr
But
era.
yeah. Oh.
I see that
Yeah.
look.
Yeah, so anyways, yeah, I've heard hum kombucha like
Oh
referred to
yeah.
as just
Mm-hmm.
like Capri Sun. 'Cause it's just like just straight. It just tastes like
Yeah.
juice.
Yeah. I'm not a
Yeah.
fan of any store kombucha. The only one that I really will, if I want to buy, before I started making my own, the only one that I would buy is, I think it's GT's kombucha.
Okay.
I think that's the one. That's the only one that I would buy. But it's so cheap to make your own that, yeah, I make about a gallon a week. And so if I want it to be a little bit stronger, I'll let it ferment for a little bit longer. I'll let it go for like a week and a half. But I make about a gallon a week, and I fill a bunch of bottles up, and I'm able to flavor it any way that I want. Right now I've been doing blueberry flavored kombucha, which has been really good. Before that I think I did ginger. Um
Just add a
Before
little
that
bit
I did
more zip to it.
yeah,
The
yeah.
ginger.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And I think before that I did tart cherry. Yeah, I'll experiment with like lots of different flavors.
Interesting.
And you do that in the second ferment.
Yeah.
So
I
Okay.
don't know much
So
about
like,
making kombucha. I've never done it, and I'm not particularly close with anybody, who's done it. So it's like I've never like.
mm-hmm.
But I do know that when you open the bottles, they can explode.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I do know that much.
Yep. Yeah. And that's so I have the glass bottles with the little pop top on
Mhm.
them. Um
Those are the ones
and
I always see
so
people open, and it's like, and it just
yep.
explodes.
Yeah, you have to be really careful with them. It all depends on how long you let it ferment, and the second fermentation will determine how much carbonation you get. And how much sugar you add to it as well. How much sugar and how much sugar juices you add, because that gives
Feeds
more
the
the
yeast.
bacteria. Yeah, it feeds the yeast and the bacteria. So to answer your question, Will, about like how you make kombucha, it is basically tea. So like I brew tea. It's different types of what is it? The Camilla sinensis or something. I forget how to pronounce it, but it's like there's actual tea leaves. You want to use the actual tea leaves. If you can use herbal tea, but it kind of defeats the purpose of having the antioxidants, and you can possibly damage your SCOBY with it. So damage the bacteria or the yeast if you use like flavored teas or herbal teas, because there's oils sometimes in those, and so you don't want to contaminate it. So it's best
Tea,
just to
Earl
keep
Grey,
like
fermented.
yeah. So okay, you have
Can
to
you
be
only
careful
imagine
with
Picard as a hipster?
right. So Earl Grey, though, you have to be careful with some Earl Grey, because I think it has bergamot oil in some of them, and you don't want to use any oils with your
Oh, that makes sense.
kombucha. Yeah. So I love Earl Grey tea, but I don't think I can use very many. So I usually use just like regular black tea, oolong tea, green tea, and uh what's the other one? White tea. White tea. So I'll mix it up. But there's this thing. It looks like this white jellyfish.
I've seen them. They're weird
Yeah.
looking.
And they can be different colors. It's a really weird. It's jelly and it's thick.
yeah.
Um and that's the SCOBY. And SCOBY stands for was it?
Symbiotic culture of bacteria and
Yeah.
yeast.
Yes,
I didn't have to look
exactly.
that up. I actually just knew that, by the
Woo!
way.
Good job, man.
I was
Yeah,
just
so
what popped in my head was like, you know how we always do a picture for YouTube, right?
oh no.
Show us a
You're gonna
picture of
put
your
a
SCOBY, Venetia.
No.
I will send you a picture of my SCOBY. I will definitely send you a picture
That
of my
sounds
SCOBY if you
so
want that.
dirty.
But anyways, that's where I was
We're not
like,
getting monetized again.
Nope. Nope. Demonetized, guys. Demonetized. But yes, so that contains all the bacteria and the yeast. So you brew the tea, and then you add sugar to it. And that's what and I use organic cane sugar. You can use honey, you can use coconut sugar, you can use different types of sugar, but that changes the types of bacteria that will flourish in the kombucha. So you do that, add the SCOBY to it. You usually have to have when you're first starting, you have to have a cup of like starter liquid from like the SCOBY, the original SCOBY. So like I have a gallon, I would save a cup of the liquid that's already in there and my SCOBY, make a new batch, make new tea, add sugar, and then put the cup of starter liquid in, and then put my SCOBY in, and the sugar. Then that just ferments. You put like a cheesecloth over so it's breathing, because it does need oxygen in order to ferment. It is a lactobacillus, I think, fermentation, which I think that one requires like it's like an anaerobic or aerobic fermentation. I forget which one it is.
It would be
You could
aerobic.
probably
okay.
okay.
If it
You could
requires
probably
oxygen, it would be aerobic.
okay, yeah. So it does require oxygen at first, but I think there's bacteria that doesn't require oxygen as well in that, because it's a 2-part fermentation, because what it does is it ferments and turns it into, the yeast I think eats up the sugars and turns it into alcohol, and then the bacteria eats up the alcohol and turns it into acetic acid. And so there's a lot of stuff going on in there, but it essentially becomes this whole big brew of just like tons of good bacteria in there. So the whole health benefits of kombucha is that it's a probiotic and it's also a prebiotic because it feeds all the stuff in your gut. It also, the bacteria makes vitamins. So like vitamin, I think it's E, A, D, C, like it makes the bacteria makes a bunch of vitamins. So it's essentially like a good vitamin drink. I just like it because it tastes good.
Health benefits are just a bonus.
Yeah, the health, to me, because you can't really confirm the health benefits, quite honestly. There's like no scientific proof that it actually does do all the things that they claim because there's so many variables. So yeah, full disclaimer, like it could make you feel better and make your gut feel better, and like it could give you like all these wonderful benefits, but I mean, there's so many variables that go into making it that it also couldn't.
Your mileage may vary.
Exactly.
When do you add the blueberry?
So in the second fermentation. So after I let it sit there.
You see that segue?
Yeah, there you go. That you're good with the segues, Will. Man, look at Will keeping us on track and doing the segues.
Been at it for 4 episodes.
Right?
Let's
Will's good
go.
at this. Will's essential to this podcast. He keeps it on track.
Yep.
But yeah, so the second fermentation is after you let it ferment for between 7 to 10 days. That's like considered the ideal. Sometimes I let it go longer than that too, because I'm not home because I'm house sitting, or don't get to it sometimes, or I want it to be super strong. I'll just let it go for a little bit longer. There's nothing really bad with that. You just have to remember to burp your SCOBY every once in a while, because the faces I just got from you guys is hilarious.
I'm sorry, you just can't say burp your SCOBY and expect no reaction from me.
So, because it's fermenting, so fermentation causes like the CO2 as well. And so it causes all of these bubbles to come up underneath, because the SCOBY kind of sits on top, and all of these bubbles and air pockets will come up and lift the SCOBY up out of your gallon that you're fermenting it in. So every so often you have to, like, I take a chopstick and I'll push it down and that's called burping your SCOBY. Every couple of days you want to push it back down.
Maybe we shouldn't have done this on a video call.
Keep going. Yep.
Yeah,
I get it. Yep.
Yeah, so you're burping your SCOBY.
Yes, so that it doesn't dry out, because you don't want it to dry out. You want it to stay within the liquid, and so you do have to do that every few days if you leave it there. But then once it's fermented as long as you want to, then you basically take a funnel and like distribute them out into the glass bottles. You want to make sure that the glass bottles can handle carbonation, so they're like, they have a dome underneath, so it'll handle the pressure from the carbonation, and then the little pop tops too, so that it keeps it sealed, so no oxygen gets in there, so it'll carbonate and it's not exposed. It won't oxidize, like it won't get exposed to any of the oxygen. And yeah, that's when you do your second fermentation. That's when you add all of your flavoring and you add like extra sugar in there to sweeten it. It'll still continue fermenting, so it'll eat up a lot of the sugar. So it's a very actually low sugar drink, because all the bacteria eat all of the sugar. If you want to slow down, if you want it to maintain a certain level of sweetness and you want it to slow down the fermentation, then you just put it in the fridge, and that'll cause the bacteria to go dormant, to not ferment as fast. They'll still be alive. It won't kill them off, but it'll cause the fermentation to slow down. So you just put them in the fridge when you want it to be at a certain sweetness level.
All my homies burp their SCOBY.
Hayden really likes that term.
I mean, it's just there's just so much just like hanging out there. Somebody's got to do something about it, and I just like
Man.
I can't not do it.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
thanks, Caden.
Yeah, well, that's the service I provide.
The joys of kombucha.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Boy.
Yeah. I have little hotels too. We call them hotels when you make extra scobies. In case your
Oh.
SCOBY, something bad happens to your SCOBY, then you make like backup SCOBYs that are, and I have them in little mason jars. And we call those hotels. They're basically like just backups for the SCOBY.
That's cute.
The
Yeah,
hotel backup Scoby. I'm thinking of Hotel California.
Oh my goodness. Yep. But yeah, that's basically kombucha. I like it. It's probably in my top favorite drinks. Kombucha.
Okay.
Yep.
Coffee,
It's
kombucha.
fun. Oh
what
yeah.
was the name of, like, if you were to buy a store-bought one?
GTs. GTs. Yeah.
Did they
I
sell that
like
anywhere?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's here in stores. I'm pretty sure it's in Oregon too. I remember getting I think the only one that's coming to mind right now, because my old roommate, Roomber, my old Roomber, used to buy it all the time. The Guava
I've
Goddess.
seen this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked it
She
up.
would
Yeah.
buy Guava Goddess all the time. In the big bottles too. You can get them in really big bottles. I think the ginger one. That one was my favorite.
I didn't know it was just fermented tea.
Yep.
The more you know. See, we're not just here to provide information. We're here to learn as well.
Yep.
That makes me a little less weary of it, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
like,
fermented tea.
What is that?
I think knowing you will, I think you will either really like it or really, really not like it. You'll either love it or hate it.
I've had it a couple times.
Oh, okay. Well.
But it was the hum, which is just like it's just juice.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing special.
It's the Pinot Noir of kombucha. It's approachable.
Yeah.
It's basic.
Yep. It's very approachable and basic. As you can tell, I like my drinks strong.
So are you like an IPA kind of person then?
Oh yes, 100%. I love IPAs.
Ooh,
I
I've
love
got
the
a good one
double
for you, but I
IPAs.
doubt you'll be able to get it over there.
Oh, it's okay. I can't drink beer as much. Like, I used to drink beer all the time, and my dad, of course, brewed beer. But I can't drink beer anymore. Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Sadly. I know, it sucks. It sucks so much. Because I love beers. And IPAs are my favorite, and hazy IPAs were so good. I love
hazy IPAs. Are where it's at.
Yep, I love hazy IPAs, and then I started getting into sours too.
I'm not big on like sours. The super hoppy IPAs. The hazy ones generally are a little bit more palatable to me. I'm not a big fan of like the bitterness, but like some of like the rogue IPAs. Are just, like, very good.
Oh yeah, 100%, hands down. Yeah. I love them. Yeah, IPAs were my favorite when I could drink beer.
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
I know.
There was actually somebody I know that like he had a reaction to like regular IPAs that like you buy in the store because of like a certain ingredient that is in them, or like the way the process is or whatever.
Yeah.
And for a while there, he was like, "Oh yeah, I can't have beer, I can't have yada yada." And then he learned that some people have the reaction with that like one thing, and so he brews his own, which doesn't introduce that like preservative or whatever it may be. And
if you can use your SCOBY to do beer,
like,
hey, I honestly
probably would work.
I know how to brew beer, so the only thing is it's a little bit more involved to brew beer than it is to do like doing kombucha is so easy, so stinking easy. But like doing beer, like I used to help my dad brew beer all the time, and like you've got to do the wort chiller, you've got to like get the carboys, you've got like there's so many things that are
a whole big
and getting
thing.
the hops, the hops, and then the barley. Like there's so much stuff involved with brewing beer that I would love to, and if somebody gave me the space to do it, I would so do it because like our apartment doesn't have. There's 4 of us living here in a 2-bedroom, and as it is, we don't have enough space. But I would love to brew my own beer. I would totally do it. It's so much fun too.
Yeah, and
For
you
a
say
little
Fun.
for a
go
little
ahead.
while, I worked for the Department of Agriculture, and I was
Oh,
doing the gig was hop sampling. Basically, you take samples out of a bunch of runs of hops, and basically Department of Agriculture inspects it and makes sure everything's up to. I don't know exactly what they did. All I knew is that I would have to go to the hop warehouse where the hop
yeah.
grower, and when shipments came in, I would take samples out of a certain percentage of the bales, and then I just box them up, label them, and bring them back to the Department of Agriculture. However, well, let me preface this. So it was interesting getting to see all of the different varieties of hops, how many different varieties they are, how
There's
differently
so
they.
many.
Yeah, there's a lot, and Oregon is a big hop growing region. Like, a lot
Oh
of hops
yeah.
are grown here, and so you
Mm-hmm.
get all of these different varieties, and you get to see a lot of the different. How they all smell a little different, and how some of them have a lot more like pitch in them, and just all that other stuff. There was
Mm-hmm.
one variety in particular that has so much pitch it would always clog up the tools, but that's a different point. Um, However, the downside of this gig, it was a really easy job, but the big downside of it was you're spending all day around hops, and that smell is a penetrative one, and it gets in and on your clothes,
Yep.
and
The oils.
yeah, and it's like even if you stay fairly clean, which was easy to do because the bales were all bundled up and covered and everything, so all I had to but anyways, it still gets on you. Well, the smell of hops when it's been permeated into your clothes and then further permeated into your car smells remarkably like weed.
I
And
was just gonna say that. As soon as you started talking about it, all of a sudden, like it hit me, and I knew exactly where you were going, and I was like,
yeah,
"Don't
and
say it,
so
don't
for
say it."
that, like, that hop growing season, it was like, I was only working there for like 3-4 months, if that. But my car
Mm-hmm.
smelled like I was hotboxing, and it was
Yep.
not a good look. And
Yep.
and then
Yeah.
and it
I
took me.
know.
I'm embarrassed to admit, it took me like, let me think. That was like 2 years ago. It took me 2 years to think of the pun hop boxing. It took me like 2 years to think of it. I only thought of that the other day, and I was so upset that it took me that long.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. That is hilarious. Yeah, no, I totally knew where you're one because my dad ordered like he would order tons of like bags and like tons of pounds of hops all the time. So I understand that smell, especially certain ones. And also, too, I worked with a lot of different types of people, and I worked in construction and warehouses, and uh,
You get to
there
recognize it.
I recognize the actual smell of of
Yeah.
people who have just harvested their supply. It has a very distinct smell, especially when it's on their clothes and
Hmm.
their hands and everything.
The
So,
smell is
yeah.
different, but it's close.
Yeah. Yeah, it is different, but yeah, it's close enough.
Yeah.
It's close enough. Yeah.
So anytime I would have people come in my car, and it's like I turn it on, AC starts going, and I'm like, I work for the Department of Agriculture. It
Yeah,
is
you're like,
hops that you are smelling. You are smelling hops.
it is hops. It is hops. Man, I clocked that right away. I was like, "Oh, I know where this is going." Oh man, that
Yeah.
is great. I love it. Fun stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
so
was
I'm gonna have
interesting.
to be careful then if I start brewing beer.
Yeah.
Considering,
Keep your hops separate from everything else.
yeah, yeah, especially considering where I live. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to.
Now, is it legal in New York?
I don't know exactly.
Is
I
it
think
legal or is it like decriminalized
let me
kind of
see. Let
thing?
me see. Let me see. I'm gonna do a quick Google.
It's a good cover. I don't know. No.
I thought it was or it had just became
Yeah, because I think
legal.
in
But I
most
don't
states it
think
is at this point.
I don't there's certain I think
I know,
some
like
there's a
Oregon,
handful.
Colorado, Washington.
Yeah. But it's different as far as like how much you can possess
Mm.
and how much you can grow on your own
Yeah.
as well. Like I think in Oregon you can have up to like 6 plants, and you can possess on you, I think it's like up to like an ounce or something. But if it's for medical reasons, you can have like up to 7 ounces. Don't ask me how I know or why I know these things.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah. Okay. In New York, if you're 21 and older, you can possess 3 ounces and up to 24 grams concentrated for personal use. Can you grow it? Let's see. Federal, of course, it's illegal still. But yeah, in New York State, if you're over 21, you can have 3 ounces. Let's see.
Interesting.
Which is less
This is
than,
not pertinent
than
information to
Oregon.
any of us, but you know,
I
here
know,
we are
right?
considering it.
Right?
It's like
We're
not
just-
that any of us would ever.
if you made it to this part of the podcast, this is like extra information in
Yeah.
case you wanted to know. Let's see.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
taking
it's the same. It's the same. You can have up to 6 plants if in their home for personal use, 3 mature, 3 immature, for a maximum of 12 per household in New York. So it's the same as in Oregon.
Oh, interesting. What do you know?
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, I probably won't use this information ever at any point, but you know, it's
Me neither.
something that's like.
You know what?
Yeah.
There's a lot of useless information that I have learned over the years that I'm just like, this is not.
It's the best kind of information. Is the useless.
This
kind.
is not good for me to know. I would never need to know this. It is probably illegal for me to know this information, but I know. Somehow I learned how to do these things, and I learned what these things are.
For when
Anyways.
the
Google
topic
how to
comes
make
up.
napalm.
Yeah.
She knows how to
Yeah.
make napalm. I saw that face.
All right, so what's
We're
our
gonna save that for
Oh, yeah,
after the
what's-
podcast. I'll let you know. We don't want to get
Acetone
can
styrofoam.
So
No, cut that, Kaden.
No, I don't think that's how you make proper
Oh.
napalm. But acetone dissolves styrofoam, so that's a fun thing.
Does. Yep.
Anyways, so this was something that you kind of brought up. I'm sorry, Will. I'm stealing your hosting thunder.
please do.
Tabletop RPGs in general, but also our
Oh.
alignments.
No,
Like on a-
Kaden, you messed it up. You're supposed to be like.
We were talking about mice earlier, and there's a
No.
popular tabletop RPG.
Yeah,
Wait, no,
you're supposed to,
Kaden,
like, 'cause-
let him do the segue.
Yeah. I was
Okay, we'll
like
let Will
ready. I was like, man.
I'm sorry, Will.
Okay. Yeah. Don't worry.
It's Will's thing. Let him.
Yeah,
because
because we were talking about beer, and I'm like, man, like, yeah, you're like the host of the party, if like, or like the man when you bring beer to like a table
That
RPG
is so
night.
true.
Oh, well.
Like-
Look at that.
That was better than my segue. I was
Do you-
bringing it all
have
the way
you
back to
ever-
the times we mentioned mice.
Yeah, is that like something you do, or
Heck yeah, man.
that was it? That was pretty
There we
That
much.
is a great.
And I don't play a
segue.
bunch. So
Yeah,
like,
Will
I'll let
hardly ever plays, but he knows well enough that you know the guy who brings the beer is the star of the show.
So
I go
true.
for the food and beer.
There you go.
Yeah,
Good
there
man.
it wasn't
man
good
right
enough,
there.
so he kind of dropped out of the group he was in. the snacks weren't good enough.
I'm
No.
considering dropping out. Yeah,
Oof. Unfortunate.
Aw.
I know.
We need to bring
Sadness.
you
I
into the mouse guard one.
Yeah.
Some people are like, I need to stay with it, but know.
What system are you using and what game are you playing? Like, what are you
So
playing, Will?
icons. So it's
Oh,
like a
that's
superhero
the
one.
superhero one. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
and
Yeah.
that one.
Is it?
Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna ask more questions.
Oh, feel
I
free.
was gonna ask,
I was
Is
gonna
that one
offer
like a
more
2D
unsolicited information.
is it a 2D20 system? Like, or what kind of system does it use?
It's a
Wow.
1d6 system.
These are great questions.
Oh, it's a 1d6. Okay, gotcha.
So it's pretty basic and it's pretty approachable. It's
Gotcha.
like kind of a first system kind of thing, or like a for
Yeah, I
kids
get you.
system. And
I
not
get
that
you. Yeah.
not that it's exclusively first or just for kids, but it's
For newbies, it's
yeah.
kind of like a great gateway RPG. Then, yeah,
Mhm.
I get you.
Good for kids like me.
Yeah.
I had fun.
And it's
I got to be a superhero.
yeah, you did. Although you were
I-
you were a super villain actually. Remember, Will? You were actually a super villain because the campaign
that
were
took me a second. I had to remember what did I do.
so
in
the
this?
campaign we're playing. I think Will is so the campaign we're playing. Each of our players has 3
Mhm.
characters. They have a super
Oh.
villain and a superhero, and a henchman who's the
Oh.
henchman stats are just nerfed. They're like
Oh.
really low, but you still have
Oh.
3 characters.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so having those 3 separate characters, and they all have a an effect within the same universe.
Okay.
And we're just kind of getting into there's gonna apparently be like there's some sort of like Avengers level threat that's basically what's
Ooh.
happening. And so normally we have villains team, heroes team, henchman team, but teams will get kind of mixed up in this part of the campaign. So we'll get to see
Oh.
different characters interact with other
Ooh. I
sides.
love that.
It's the
I
funniest
love
thing.
that.
Our henchmen have the absolute worst stats, but they've had the biggest impact on the world. So
They
the kind of
usually do,
yeah,
man.
the frame up of like how we all kind of like know each other is
Mhm.
basically we all kind of work through and are agents of like a temp agency, but for superheroes, the supervillains. So we're kind of
Mhm.
like not like big like high profile, but we bargain basement heroes. And
That okay, I love that concept. That is really cool.
and so it's like we're all with like this temp agents. Well, within the first few sessions of our like henchmen playing, we're apparently heads of the company now. And it's just we just somehow accidentally our way into being CEOs of the villain I mean the henchman branch of this company. It's so we're the most powerful characters, but we had just garbage stats.
Dude. What?
And it's
That
the
is
funniest
awesome.
thing is it's like the character I have for my henchman. So it's like
Mhm.
I hadn't built a character,
Mhm.
because I just never had the chance to. But the session I was going to with the first one, my brother was going to come, but he couldn't make it. So I just was
Mm.
like, okay, fine, I'll take your character. Um, but apparently, I'm stuck with this character now. It's the one I'm least invested in, but now he's the most powerful because the other 2 I wrote backstories for.
Oh my god, of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
the
The
other one.
one that you're just like, it's just I don't care about. Oh, that one's the main character now.
Yeah, I guess
Okay
he's
then.
he's the most important one. So I ended up
Wow.
eventually, writing a backstory for him. He's a retired performer, and performance was his superpower. His name is Billy Jean. No, it's not Billy Jean. I'm sorry. His name is Jilly Bean. His name is Jilly Bean.
That oh my goodness, that is brilliant. I love that. You're really okay. From the time like we collaborated a little bit with the whole RPG with I don't even remember what that one was called.
Mm.
I can't
But
remember what
yeah,
that our RPG that we were collaborating over. Like you're really good at coming up with names and stories and like concepts.
I try. That's
That's
the
cool.
part I enjoy the
That's really
most.
cool. Oh yeah,
That like
same.
I enjoy making characters and
Yeah.
making stories for them. That's why I like GMing too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about jamming when we were collaborating.
Yeah, I've
Will,
GM'd probably half dozen sessions at this point, and I love it.
that's so cool.
Gives me
I
a
need
chance
to,
to do
yeah,
stupid voices all the time, and it's so great.
I love that. Will, I want to know what your characters are.
Oh, hold on. There's a bug on my keyboard.
Oh no, it's the
The
return of
spider's
the
back.
spider.
Let's go.
It's
Let's
the
go. The
return
No.
of
spider's
the
back.
spider. Oh
No,
my
he
goodness.
Shout out to
crawled
the goat,
away.
the spider. Shout out to spiders everywhere.
No, he
Yeah.
crawled away. Bummer. I was afraid.
Unfortunate.
I hesitated. That's why.
Oh,
He could
I
sense
have
your
to meet
fear.
Will.
I know. But anyways, superhero, supervillain.
You're. I don't
I
remember
do.
who your hero is, but your villain is
Oh,
hilarious.
yeah. So, okay. My hero was, I think he was like Superman, but he could like duplicate himself. So he
Oh.
could get like multiple little dudes. And then my villain, he was made to believe he was Thor. Oh, Weather Boy. His name's Weather Boy.
What?
and he got mind controlled to think that he was Thor, and he was like running around with Thor's hammer, which was pretty fun.
Oh my
The
goodness.
context of this is so his character has like, more minor level weather manipulation abilities.
Okay.
But another one of our character has like kind of a emotion control, mind control kind of build. So one of the
Mhm.
other villains, and so
Mhm.
this other villain basically makes Will's character Weatherboy believe in himself that he is Thor, and he believes it so completely that Mjolnir actually answers to him.
No. What?
Yeah,
Well,
Weatherboy's
it's not
gotten
Mjolnir,
pretty
it's
far in
Stormbreaker.
life.
Oh, it's Stormbreaker. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
but and also
Dude,
it's not Thor.
still.
It's not Thor. His name is Leroy. But
Le-
Yeah.
Tommy's our GM, Venetia. So
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
little bit of context there.
Yep, that makes sense. That
Mhm.
tracks for sure.
Mm.
Oh,
How
Tommy.
many? Okay. How
Hmm.
many RPG things do you have going on right now?
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of mine because of moving here. A lot of my RPGs have fizzled out and they're not as consistent. I was at one point consistently in four different RPGs that were all on the West Coast that I continued out here.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think my only consistent one is just one. Uh, other than of course the Discord server that we do our RPGs in, which is recently gone dead. But the consistent one that I do is the Fallout. The what is it? Morbius? No, what is it? Morpheus?
Oh,
No, what is it?
Modifius.
Modifius. Thank you.
That's,
I'm like, what? That's not.
like, what is Morbin time? What's happening?
Yeah,
Morbius.
yeah. I'm all like, man, that's not the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Will,
that one.
it's the
Fallout.
same, in essentially a very similar system to like what we do our Star Trek one. So
Yeah,
you're
it's a
not
2D
you're not in the Star Trek
2D20.
one, but it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
was in a Star Trek one at one point. I was in two Fallout games. The other Fallout one is it's essentially the same universe but a different time period. And then I was in another one called Desert Moon of Karth. And that was I forget what that one was from. It was like it was based on a percentage system. So you would use the two D10s, the or a D100 essentially, and then that's how you would do it was all based on percentages essentially. If you got under a certain percent, then you were
So the
like
D10s,
success
you
or
would
fail.
roll a percentile and then a digit D10. So you
Yeah.
would get like, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and so that was that system. There was another one that I was in that was a completely different system where it was based on each skill you would get a different die. So like if you were super skilled in it, you would get like a D10 or a D12. If you were not very skilled in it, then it was a D4. So it like based on what your skill level was and those different
That's interesting. That's an interesting way to
skill
approach
checks.
it.
Yeah, that one, oh, what was that one called? I forget what that one was called. That one was super fun though. I loved that one. I was a lizard. His
That's
name was Gion. I was a mutant lizard in that one named Gion.
fantastic.
Yeah, he rode motorcycles and he was part of a gang.
Even
And he
better. Everything you keep
mhm.
adding just keeps getting better.
Yeah, that one I had so much fun with. I said so many crazy stupid things in that one. I got thrown in jail. I took drugs. I like ended up stealing like cases of alcohol. I blew up a building. I destroyed a streamer's camera.
I mean,
Like,
average Tuesday for Venetia.
yeah,
You made
that was
fermented bananas.
Banana
yeah.
wine.
I need to look up what that one was, because that one was so much fun. I have servers from like all of them that I'm still in, like Discord servers.
I was
Um,
I had a Star Trek one that I was a part of for
oh yeah, and I was in a Star Trek one
like
too.
5 years.
Oh, and GURPS. I did GURPS too.
Okay, I've never played a GURPS
You're
game.
reminding me. That
But
I started RPGs in GURPS.
oh,
So that's
cool.
like being thrown into like the fire when you're a newbie with RPGs, tabletop RPGs, and I started doing GURPS was my first one.
Oh, when
Yeah.
did you start RPGs?
Look at that segue. Look at
Look
that
at that.
segue. Probably about 10 years ago now, I would say. Maybe no,
Okay.
it has to be less than that. Maybe like 8. Because I've been here 2 years and I lived in Oregon for 6. So yeah, because I started RPGs when I moved to Oregon. I knew about them and started getting into them before I moved, but I didn't actually start playing until I moved to Oregon. And then a couple of friends, mutual friends, got me into them. I started showing up to their sessions and campaigns, and they integrated me and showed me how to do it. And at first I hated it because it was so overwhelming. There were so many things that I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But then they made, like, my friends helped me, like they kind of like gave me stats and made my stats and filled things in for me. And then they're just like, just play the character. And then once that I did that, I was hooked. And then I was like, now I want to know how to do this. How can I create my own character? Then I just dived deep, man.
I
But yeah,
first started back in, I think, 2018, either
yeah,
2018 or early 2019. And
yeah.
it's
About 2016, 27. Yeah, 2016 was when I started playing. Yeah, so
yeah. So
pretty
I
close.
started with a Star Trek campaign that ran until just like a month or two ago. Um,
Oh, dang.
yeah. So
Wow.
we did two GMs through it, and all through the pandemic, and with pandemic and everything, it's like we played a lot less. So it's like,
Right.
all told, it wasn't a whole lot of actual gameplay. But I ran one character through the entire thing. It was the first RPG character I ever created. I mean, it was a self insert in the purest way possible. He was a half human, half Vulcan. His name was Dan Daniels, and he was the chief medical officer when we began. He was the chief medical officer when we ended. Dan
Dang. That is
Daniels, the actual
awesome.
goat. At
I
one
love it.
point, I think he had like three separate consciousnesses living inside of his head. No, yeah, three consciousnesses and a map of the multiverse. RPG's gonna RPG is a whole big thing.
Dude, man, I love that. I love it.
It was like
Ah,
so it was his own. Then it was a
yeah.
from a mind meld with the former captain. Because the
Hmm.
former captain, when he left, he wasn't sure entirely if he was going to survive or not. So Vulcans being Vulcans did the thing. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah.
then later it became sort of the way our GM did it is like, so the Q, when they ascend to that Q level, basically godhood, they
Mm-hmm.
have to leave something behind.
Hmm.
And basically what they leave behind is sort of the essence of their evil qualities is what they leave behind. And these are
Oh,
personified, and these are like basically pure energy, but pure malicious energy, that
dang.
were just imprisoned somewhere in deep space.
Hmm.
And where it was in Star Trek, the original series movies, the one where they meet Cybok. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
planet outside at the center of the universe, that was the prison.
Yeah.
That was what our GM retconned that to be. That was like their original prison. So that thing that Cybok meets as
What?
pretending to be God was basically just the evil side of the Q that they had left behind. Um, and so
Dude.
that whole thing happens. They escape, but basically what was living in my head was
Hmm.
actually one Q at some point had done the reverse, left behind the good side of themselves. And so what I had living in my head was the good one of those things.
What? Oh, that's cool. That is really cool. I like that. I really like that.
Yeah,
Man, RPGs are so fun.
I know, it's so much fun.
I I love, like, I love, and I had talked to you about this before, Kaden. Like, I love the creativeness. One of my friends out here, one of my new friends, I just became friends with her like I think it was only a few months, yeah, only a few months ago. And she asked me the question of just like, tell me something about you that I wouldn't know. And I was like, I love tabletop RPGs. And she was like, what? And she's like, what are those
Oh,
and why? And so I explained to her what they were. And that, I think, is one of the things that I absolutely love about RPGs is just you create. It's just the creative, just limitlessness to it. Like the fact that you can no boundaries with what you can do. You can make entire worlds, you can make these amazing characters and have stories, and then it's like you get to do it with your friends, and it's just yeah, I love RPGs
I love it,
so much.
and I
Yeah.
felt so bad about the Star Trek is that it's like I was set up to GM next, but
Oh,
I'm GMing a different RPG system,
yeah.
and I've got too many other responsibilities that I just don't have the bandwidth, and so I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
really bad, and it's like I was gonna GM, but it's just like now I just can't, and I just feel so bad.
Yeah.
And
No, I
it
totally
was
get
a Zoom
you.
only one, which is difficult in itself,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever, yeah, I haven't found people out here yet that like RPGs, so I haven't found a group that I can play with out here yet. So all of my games are Zoom only essentially because I just set up like we find times, and usually I'm up until like 1 a.m., like midnight 1 a.m. because that's like the good time for them. But I love playing so much that I'm just like, I want to still play with you guys.
yeah,
Will you let
the
me play with you still?
the one that I'm GMing is in the derivative of the Burning Wheel system, but it's for Mouse Guard, the Mouse Guard comic
Hmm.
books. Um,
Yeah. Okay. So tell me about the. Are you? Well, you're not in the mouse guard one, are you? You're just in
No,
the icons one. Hmm.
just icons.
yeah, Will isn't
Just
in the
icons.
Mouse Guard one.
I am not a
Okay.
mouse. I've
You're not
played
a
the mouse
mouse.
once.
Oh,
It
okay.
was a one shot adventure that was the
That you
purpose of
did,
being
yeah,
the
that's
mouse.
right.
Oh, okay.
Tommy did that
Yeah.
one where you it was a Mouse Guard one, but each of the mice was built to be like one of the judges from the Bible. So it was like you had like a Samson one.
No,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah,
dude, that is awesome. I love
I
that.
couldn't make
So
it, but I was gonna play Samson.
Oh, sadness.
Yeah, unfortunate.
That's cool.
But you had a question
what was your
about the
question?
Mouse Guard?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read the comics. So I well, they're not really like comics. They're like illustrated stories
I
almost.
would call
Like
them comics.
yeah, but I loved them. I
Hmm.
absolutely loved them. And so when I didn't know there was a Mouse Guard RPG until Josh told me about it. And so and then he told me that it was like running a game or like in a part of a game, and I was like, I want to do Mouse Guard. I don't know what kind of system is it.
So basically, it's a variable d6 is basically the
Okay.
system. So you have varying attributes and skills, and they have a rating, and that rating determines how many d6s you roll. Um,
Oh, okay. I
yeah,
get you. Yep.
and it
All
determines how
right.
many d6s you roll. Fours, fives, and sixes are successes, and so the
Mm-hmm.
GM sets, it's obstacle level 3. You have to roll 3 successes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I'm
it's a lot of
familiar.
fun. I haven't played it in several years, so I've been doing a lot of reading and rereading the rule book because full
Mm.
disclosure, the core rule book is horribly written. I mean,
Oh yeah, you told me about
well,
that. About how like
it's not completely incomprehensible, but it's
eh,
structured a little bit oddly.
yeah.
Because it
Mm-hmm.
like half explains some things early on and then explains them fully later, but leaving out the stuff that they explained the first time. So it's
Right.
like there's a lot of
Right, right,
jumping
right.
back and forth between to get to the point or the finer ruling detail that you want. So it's been a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of an interesting thing trying to get handle all the rules and everything.
So it'd be like
I
it.
bungled a rule hard in one of our early sessions. So in the on the player's side, you have what are called like fate and persona points, and they're just points you can spend to give yourself bonuses like extra dice or the ability to re-roll failures or whatever. Um, and basically, in most RPGs, there is for everything the players do, there is some sort of equivalent on the GM side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like in Star Trek, there's momentum, which are just bonus points you can use to buy more damage or
Right.
more dice. The GM has
Mm-hmm.
threat, and it can do the exact same thing.
Yep. Yep.
Mouse
They
Guard
have that in
has
Fallout too.
Mouse Guard has no such provision. I thought it did, and so there was a fight
Oh.
that was way closer than it should have been because I thought there was, and I used like
Mm.
2 or 3 points um, to make it so, and it was like it ended up being a good story. It
Yeah.
served the story well, which is the ultimate goal. But I was like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%.
yeah,
What were you gonna say, Will? I feel like you had a
Oh,
joke.
no, I was just gonna say, it sounds like if I was to write a rule book, it would be like mouse guard setup.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
Yeah,
that's fair.
everything's in there. I don't know what
Everything.
you're
I don't know where it
complaining
is, but
about.
it's in there.
It's in
Yeah,
there.
like
Why do you start the sentence on page 2 but then finish it on 200 and something? And you're like, well, I mean, it's in there,
it's
right?
in like you're gonna read the whole thing either
Yeah.
way, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that like there's a couple of things that I've been working on that I've just like I've consolidated them into one document, where it's
Oh
just
yeah,
like
you told me about
it's like
that.
I
Yes.
consolidated these rules. I have page number references. And I
Yep.
consolidated them so I have a quick glance.
Yep.
And somebody I saw on Reddit, somebody wrote an abridgment that I need to check out.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, Mouse Guard
Very
is
nice.
a fun system. I love the universe. The system has some quirks to it that I don't love, but the universe
Mhm.
is I love the universe. And
Yeah.
it's a story that I'm really, I really want to tell. So it's like
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the important part. The whole fun with RPGs is the storytelling. I love I like when we have combat with cuz combat's fun. Like combat's always fun. But I don't like combat heavy sessions to where it's just like you're only getting combat. I love being able to have interactions where we're just like sitting around a table and just hanging out and talking, or like we're having to do a quest where we have to talk to other people and try to figure something out or solve something. Like I love that part of RPGs too, where it's a lot of role playing. I love the whole role playing part of it
and
too.
that's one of my favorite things, and that's something that in some of our sessions that we've
Mm.
haven't done terribly, like we haven't done a whole lot of,
Hmm.
but it's like we do it, but it's like it's just our players and our GMs may not be exactly what they're best or at or most inclined to do, but it's
Mm-hmm.
something that in Mouse Guard that as a GM now, it's like that's the kind of game that I really like to play in, and that's the game I really like
Yeah.
to run, and it's been interesting. I feel like we're only like 5 sessions into the campaign, but
Oh.
we've been fairly decently balanced as far as like a good little mix of like combat and like perilous moments, but also there's been a lot of like character beats and a lot of interchange. These two characters, um, actually, like there's two characters that really pull at each other, like they
Mm.
really clash, and it's like the best role playing I've ever seen my brother do in an RPG was at the end of that fight that I screwed up on because they had barely won, and so this my brother's character is the leader of their patrol, and
Oh.
um and the other guy's character, well, it was Tommy's character, and Tommy's character was insubordinate. Like he told him off. He was like, "Yo, this is ridiculous. We're the Mouse Guard. We shouldn't be almost losing to these guys. Just these rubes from somewhere." And
Mhm.
told him off, and it was like a whole big argument between those two characters, and it was like, oh, it's juicy. And then
I love it.
two on the GM side, I get to do stupid voices, and everybody loves it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
voice a weasel character, and he sounds a little gay, and it's just what happens.
I
One of
love
my
it.
players
I
wrote
love it.
wrote a weasel into their backstory, and so it's like in Mouse Guard, they have like friends and enemies that you kind of write onto your character sheet, and
Hmm.
they're a part of your backstory in some respect, and interestingly enough, all our characters are mice, and weasels are their natural enemies, but her friend is a weasel. So,
Oh.
it's crazy how that works. But first session, we're just getting going, and it's like we're doing character creation. She's writing this out at the table, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, James the Weasel, he's your friend. That sounds cool. And so we're establishing. I do my whole first session prologue, and we're getting out and we're getting ready, prepping for the mission. And she's like, I want to go visit my friend James the Weasel, and I'm like, okay, and I pulled the voice out, and oh well, that's what's happened. And it was not good. He sounded a little bit questionable.
I love it.
And then
Oh my
there's an old
goodness.
guy. There's an old guy that's a player favorite.
Nice. Oh my goodness. That sounds like a fun game.
It will
Such a fun game.
when you come visit next time. We will have
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guest
yeah, yeah.
star. We will have you be a guest star.
Oh my goodness. I would love that. I would love that. I do have some not like free plane tickets, but like a discounted. I have credit. I have credit with Alaska Airlines
Ooh.
that I have to use by August. So I might make a visit pretty soon.
That's
It
an after
probably won't be
discussion. That's an after podcast
yeah,
discussion.
yeah, it won't be a long visit, but yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
So
That would be fun.
we are at the 3 hour mark. That is counting our
No
little.
way!
That is counting
No
the.
way!
Now there's about like 15-20 minutes that's not like podcast, but still. So we are
Man,
literally.
you're gonna have to cut a lot of that.
I'm
That's
thinking this may actually
crazy.
have to be a two-parter. So we may split this one sort of session into 2 parts.
Oh man. Hey, if you want to do that,
Yeah, we'll see how it
dude.
goes. So if
Yeah.
I know it's pretty late over there, so like if you're feeling like you want to keep going, then that's cool. But if you feel like you want to kind of you're tiring out, or
Let me double check if my
you're the one who's 3 hours behind us, so
ahead.
I know it's midnight right now. I just want to double check to see. I don't even know if my roommate's home yet. So let me see if I think she's asleep. I think she's asleep. Hang on one sec. Let me
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Will and I will handle things.
yeah. Let me double check real quick.
Yeah. How do we do a podcast again?
I don't know. It's kind of weird not having somebody else to talk with.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, sorry we
You
kind of
good?
left you in the lurch there with the tabletop RPG talk.
Oh, no problem, man. You know more about it. I'm
Yeah,
just
she's home. She's
here to
asleep.
take it
I don't
in.
know what time she got home, but she's asleep in the bed right there.
Oh,
Yep.
apparently you're not disturbing her somehow.
Apparently, she can sleep through anything, man.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So, okay, I would say that way I'm not keeping her up or waking her up at any point. I would say, what are there any other topics that you like are really wanting to talk about other than, of course, our. I think the tabletop RPGs was a good, like kombucha was a good one.
Mm-hmm. But
The
tabletop
tabletop RPG.
RPGs, I mean, especially for you and I, that's something we could go for hours on.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Will,
Okay.
what did you have?
Okay. How about let's just touch the other ones? Just real
Okay.
Okay,
briefly.
really briefly.
Real
Okay.
briefly.
Will,
Are you an
real.
Are you an audiobook listener or a reader?
That was a pitiful segue, Will. That was a
Oh, I'm
pitiful
sorry.
segue.
Okay. Okay.
So the
I'm
Mouse
sorry.
Guard
No,
RPG
no.
is based upon a book, and
Mm.
so
No,
would
I
you
can-
rather? Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I can do better. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Yeah. These like RPGs. Eh.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
You could
mhm, mhm.
probably write a pretty good book out of them.
Oh yeah,
Do you-
for sure.
Yeah, like there's a lot of creativity going on here. Do you ever like read books or listen to them?
Both.
The
both,
master of
sir.
segues.
Yes,
Mm,
the master of
Yes,
segues.
thank you, thank you. Do you
I
prefer one over the other? Real
I
quick,
do
real
now.
quick.
Yes, I do now. I am an avid Audible user. I listen to audiobooks
Not a
every
sponsor.
single day.
Hey, do you
Yes,
have to subscribe? Does it cost money?
it does. It does cost money. I'm thinking about canceling my subscription
How
though.
much?
It's $15 a month.
Okay.
It
That's not
is
terrible.
15, yeah. Yeah, it's not super terrible, but like you get a credit. So essentially you pay $15 a month, you get access to a bunch of free books. You get access to the Audible library, which there's a bunch of books you just download and they're available to you. There's a lot of books that cost money, but they have sales all the time.
Okay.
And every month for $15 you get one credit. Each credit can go towards a book. And so I don't even know. I've had
Now-
Audible for I don't know how long.
Sorry to interrupt.
you
I'm going to
mentioned-
step away for like 2 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
You mentioned canceling. Why would you cancel?
Because most of the books are cheaper like when they go on sale, most of them are cheaper than $15. And so that is why I was thinking about possibly canceling just to save money for a while. Because they have great sales so often that I end up I'll end up spending less than $15 on the books. So I'm basically paying $15 for a book every time. So if I use my credit, I like to use it on books that are more than $15, so I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. But most of the books are less than that.
So would you recommend as a newcomer maybe buy a book, like an audio book when it's on sale and see how you
Mhm.
like it?
Yep. Yeah,
I would
for
imagine a
sure.
lot of that lies in the narrator too.
Okay, so I have 121 titles.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, on
Nice.
my Audible. I've got 121.
As
Um,
you own them?
I own them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I either bought them or I used credits on them.
Or
So yeah.
have you come across a narrator that's like, okay, yeah, they didn't do so good with it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Some books are hard to get through because the narrator wasn't that great.
Okay.
But some, man, so good. Some of them that are Audible specials or like only from Audible, they have an immersive experience where you also hear sounds like on some of the narrative. I read a lot of nonfiction books. I like learning, and so I like to listen to books that help me to learn, like help teach me stuff. And so I don't listen to a lot of story books, like fiction books. But the ones that I do listen to, some of them have that like immersive experience where you hear like sounds in the background and they have different voices, character voices for each person, and that's really cool. Like those ones are super super awesome.
Way back in
Cool.
the day, they did. I think they were mostly broadcast on radio, so lets you know how long ago it was. But it was like audio dramatizations of a bunch of like Louis L'Amour short stories. So
Oh,
almost all of his stuff was like Western, and so
yeah.
they were adapted for runtime and radio and stuff. But for the most part, they're pretty faithful adaptations of like just random Louis L'Amour short stories. And when we were younger, we used to listen to them all the time. Like you could find like box sets of like 3 or 4 CDs at like
Hmm.
truck stops all over the place, and so we would
Oh
we
wow.
we accumulated a whole bunch, and we would listen to them all the time. And so
Oh,
that's
that's
what that
so
made me think
cool.
of.
That is really cool.
I
Yeah.
Most of what I like to read is fiction, and I can imagine
Mm.
I would have a more difficult time with fiction than I would with nonfiction, because I
Yeah.
think fiction, mandates a little bit more imagination
Hmm.
be put into it. So it's
Hmm.
like a little bit more like mental energy, like distracting, I could say.
Hmm.
Um, Whereas like most of the time when I'm listening to like music or a podcast or something, I'm at work and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't have time to be daydreaming at work. But I can see for
Mm.
nonfiction it would work very well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it also depends on the job you do as well.
Valid.
Hmm.
Yes. So you have nonfiction, you have fiction
Hmm.
books. Do you
Hmm.
have a nonfiction you would recommend and a fiction book you would
She
recommend
already recommended
Yes.
one earlier.
to the
Oh yeah.
listener?
Born to Run.
Yeah. Born to Run is
Born
really
to
good.
Run.
I loved
Okay.
that book. Though nonfiction book. Um, I let's see. Oh man, I'm looking at all my books right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many. I
Even a
oof.
couple.
Atomic Habits. If you are a person that loves to be productive, Atomic Habit by James Clear is such an amazing book. I love that book. I've read it I think like 2 or 3 times at least. Um,
Yeah, I don't like being
that one's
productive.
really good. Oh man, that one's so good. Um, what's another one? Let's see. Let's see. Man, I have read so many books. um,
This might take a minute. Maybe we should have thought about
Yeah,
this beforehand.
I
that's fine.
know.
I thought I'd throw it out there, throw a bone. But
Man, yeah. And then there were none. Are any of you like Agatha Christie fans?
I've wanted to get into it. I just never had the chance.
What is
As
it?
far as fiction books go, Agatha Christie is a mystery novel writer,
Oh, okay.
murder mystery novel writer. I love And Then There Were None. It's digestible enough. It's short enough, but still like meaty enough that it's very, again, like wine. It's a very approachable mystery novel
The
book.
Pinot Noir of mystery novels.
It's
It's yeah, super good. I love that because I wanted to recommend for fiction books. I wanted to recommend Dune because I reread Dune Messiah, and I read those books back when I was like 15, and I fell in love with them. They're super sci-fi, really weird, but super sci-fi and awesome. And because the new movie coming out and everything, I was like, I'm rereading all of these books. And I love them. They're
I've
very
heard Dune can
poetic
be
too.
very very weird. Like
Yeah.
turn you away weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. But it's also very beautiful at the same time. Like and very, very not your normal like sci-fi book either. Not your normal like hero either book.
Mhm.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. Um Another one that I read recently that was really good. Oh man, where is it?
So you got Born to
Fiction.
Run. What was the other nonfiction?
Atomic
Atomic
Habits.
Habit.
Oh, I have
Atomic
it.
Habits.
Okay.
And I'm very much a psychology kind of person. I love reading about psychology. I like a lot of like self-help books too. So like I recently read this is gonna sound real funny. How to Avoid Falling in Love with a Jerk.
Valid.
Cannot
It's
recommend that enough. That is a great book. Yes.
sounds like it.
Super,
Applicable
super
advice
good.
for all of us.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. Super good book. I just finished it not too long ago. I also read like the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes before the or after. I watched it or I read it after the movie because I wanted to watch the movie and then read it because I read all the Hunger Games books before the movies came out,
Mm.
and I felt like my perspective of the movies was ruined because I read all the books. And so I wanted to have the opposite. Um, so I read the book after I watched the movie. Um,
I was the opposite.
Okay.
I saw Hunger Games. Well, actually, scratch that. I saw Hunger Games 1 and 2 the movies, and then I read the third book before the third and fourth movies came out. And then
Man.
I read Songbirds and Snakes before the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked both. The movie
Mm-hmm.
I
I
really
yeah,
enjoyed.
I did too. I enjoyed both. I especially I really liked the book. There was a couple parts where I was kind of like, it was lacking in some areas where she could have like done more, I think, and delved a little bit deeper. Same thing with the movie. There were a couple parts where I was like, it could have been like you could have done a little bit more with it, but for the
So
most
much
part, like
happens, though.
it
It's
yeah,
like it,
so much happens, and for the amount of stuff that happens, they did so well. So well. Like both the movie and the book, like the movie especially, like the things that they changed and the things that they cut out and the things that they condensed
I
were
didn't take issue
so
with it.
yeah, neither did I. I was like, oh, that worked, that made sense, that was perfect. Like I wasn't mad about the fact that they cut it or changed it.
Yeah,
So
I was surprised at like how well that movie worked just with how much stuff they had to put in there.
yeah, I just saw another book that I read, and it's one of those books that it's called Educated, by
Hmm.
Tara Westover. It was recommended. So anytime anybody ever recommends a book to me, I always read it. Like I'll just download it right away from Audible, and I'll just read it right away. So I have a lot of books on here that people have recommended to me. So
Oh,
I loved
okay.
Educated as well by Tara
Oh,
Westover.
oh, educated by.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Now,
Yeah.
could I read this on like Spotify or YouTube or maybe another subscription service? Or is Audible
Um,
like kind of the only one for books? Because I kind of also am curious about the other subscription services out there.
I mean, I don't know. That's a great segue, sir. That is such a great.
Well, you're getting really good at this. I think you need to be our
You're
primary host at all times.
Yes, I agree. I 100% agree.
Have you
As
used
far
those
as
other ones?
I for
Will is just
music
dying.
is for music, yeah, like I use Spotify and I use YouTube Music. I'm an Android user, so I don't have access to Apple Music. I have an Apple TV subscription because I got it for free, but I don't use Apple Music. I absolutely love YouTube Music and the YouTube Caden
I'm
Caden
sorry, I couldn't hide
Caden
my cringe.
Caden like scrunched his nose at me in disgust just now
You
for
ever
the
know see
viewers.
when Kermit the Frog like does the scrunch? That's what just
Yeah,
happened there.
that is exactly what just happened. Yeah, YouTube Music is my thing. Because of the fact that on YouTube Premium you get no ads on YouTube videos, and you don't have to leave YouTube app open. You can you can blacken the screen and put it in your pocket, and you can still listen to whatever video is playing.
Like this
Um,
podcast.
Let's
exactly.
go.
Just like so I'll listen to the podcast with YouTube Premium and I can just put it in my pocket and I don't have to worry about keeping it open or anything.
It's definitely a
Yeah,
better value. I'll give it
it
that
it is.
by
Yeah,
far.
then Spotify.
Yep.
I have a subscription to Spotify and I have a subscription to YouTube Music. I
Hey,
use
big
YouTube
spender.
Music. I am in debt, sir. Oh, I'm thinking about actually canceling my Spotify subscription because of the fact that I'm like, oh, I need to save money. I can't afford two.
Yep.
Man, yeah. I was
Expensive.
gonna get the duo and split it with you, Will, but you have to live in the same address. And I was like, I was
Lame.
gonna like send it to you and be like, let's Spotify account. And then I was like, oh no, you have to live in the same place. I'm like,
I saw that. The family plan's the same
oh,
thing.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Otherwise, I was gonna,
I know.
recruit
I
five
know.
people and then get those guys to recruit their five people. And
Spotify
each of
pyramid
them.
scheme. We turned
Yeah.
Spotify into a pyramid scheme, so you
Right,
don't
Yep.
have to.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah,
Cool.
I'm a YouTube Music subscriber
You know,
for sure.
I used to use it,
Mm-hmm.
like play back when it was Play Music or something on
Mm-hmm.
Android.
Mm-hmm.
It worked pretty solid. Like you could import your own songs too.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, it was the Google Play. Yeah, Google Play Music, and then it like integrated both. Yeah, I had that too.
Yep. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for. I think that's all of them.
Is it?
I
Let
think
me-
we
let me-
actually did cover all of
Did
them.
we?
Like
I
it
Did
was a
we
think so.
cover
marathon, but we did it.
everything?
I wanted to.
Not quite everything that you like originally sent, but everything
Oh,
that we
right.
kind
Yeah,
of
no, no, no.
filtered.
Oh, I
Yeah,
can.
exactly.
Like if we want to touch on the.
Yeah, we
Uh,
did all the things that you were wanting to. Oh man, I sent you guys so many ideas, topics for ideas. Like that was the whole thing. I did not expect you to
No, it was great. Oh,
hit so many of them. What? What? What?
we're
What?
professionals.
real quick. No, just keep going. I gotta look up something to.
Oh, he's looking something up.
Let me
So
see. Let me see what I put in there.
yeah, you had a lot of
Oh,
stuff.
oh, I wish we would have touched on personality tests though. Like,
Oh yeah.
I wish, because I love just because I think it's fun. Like, I don't put a whole ton of weight into personality tests because we're all so very different and we change throughout our lives. But I love just getting the insight, knowing how people answer the questions of the personality test.
Mm-hmm. So
Like, I
let me
know
ask you,
what
what's your Myers-Briggs type?
ENFJ.
That
I'm an
tracks.
ENFJ-A. So I think that's the protagonist if you're going on the 16 personalities.
And let me think. That is extroverted,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Intuitive.
intuitive, judging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, feeling and judging, and then
Feeling
assertive.
and then judging.
I
Yep.
am an
Mhm.
ISTJ.
You know what? That does not surprise me.
No, yeah, I'm as straight laced and straightforward as they come. Like
Yep.
I've been practicing on
That-
excitement since I was 5 years old. I was born an 80-year-old man.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
I remembered
And I
what I was
know-
gonna say.
Okay. I know Will though is my what's my roommate? I think my roommate's an ISFP, right? And I think you're the same. as my roommates.
I remember we figured that out at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We figured that out, and I was like, "You're the exact same as my roommate."
Yeah. Now we're best friends. But,
Yep. Mhm.
but we don't want to talk about it because
Yeah. No. 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 Why
we don't
would
want to
you?
speak to each
Yeah.
other.
No.
Yeah.
It's the whole point of being
Okay.
best friends.
Not
Okay.
talking to
Go
each
ahead,
other.
Will. Go ahead.
Now, yeah, because couple things popped in my head. Right.
Mhm.
I've been talking about some deals each week,
Oh, that's
and
true.
there
Yes,
was
the
there was the
Fabletic.
there was an idea mentioned to me about like, oh, we should have like a Will's deal of the week or something, you know? And I was trying to rack my brain, like, have I bought anything? Not really. But and then I saw your topic. You're thinking of going to, or you are attending some eclipse thing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So April 8th in New York, there's a total solar eclipse that's passing through. And we're traveling where we live. I live in the Hudson Valley. And so where we live, the path of totality won't pass over here. So we're traveling 4 hours north. I got an Airbnb like 6 months ago. So I got it super cheap. And we're staying up near the Buffalo area because that's where the path of totality will cross. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I did see a deal though, and I was thinking, oh, okay, because the totality, the eclipse coming. There are free eclipse glasses at Warburg Parker, which I think they're like stores that sell
Warby Parker,
like
isn't it?
Warby, yeah, whatever. You're better at the English than I am.
It's true.
So,
It's true.
but
Than
apparently
all of us.
they're giving out like free ISO certified
Really?
like glasses from the April 1st to the 8th.
Oh,
So like if you find a store near you or whatever, look on their site. You can
yeah.
you can get some like actually legit, like, we know these are certified glasses.
Yeah. Yeah. Certified solar eclipse glasses.
Keep
You're
your
gonna love
eyes
it
safe,
too.
listeners.
The solar eclipse it came through, back in 2017. Back here, it's
I was
almost.
here. I
Oh
was
yeah,
here
that's
for
right. Yeah,
it.
you were
Or I
here.
was there. I was there. I'm all like, yeah, I was here. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I was in Oregon when it happened.
yeah, that's right.
Why I was so insistent on my roommates, because my roommates have never seen a total solar eclipse. And so that's why I was so insistent on them going to see it. And we have a group of 8 people that are going. I got an Airbnb that could fit 10. And we have a couple that are so into astronomy. Like, the husband is bringing like these massive telescopes and
Oh,
like
sweet.
when I say he's legit into astronomy, I mean, before I invited them to stay at our Airbnb, he had 2 hotel locations booked in case of weather, because he was like, we're if we need, where he's like, we're gonna have this hotel, and if that one doesn't have good weather, then we've got this hotel as backup so that we can travel there, so that we can like, and he bought new equipment for it. Like, it's
He's
gonna be so
hardcore.
much fun.
Yeah,
So hardcore.
it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Like I would totally travel to see it if I could.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm really hoping that it'll be just as amazing and awesome. Like, the literal meaning of awesome. I hope it's just as awesome as the 2017 one, because that one was so just mind blowing to me that I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever. So I'm hoping it's just as good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I
Okay.
think with
I
that,
think
that
that's
might
it.
be a good place to close it off. So let's
Yeah.
see.
Great. We have
Will
no
you-
spiders on the wall this
No
time.
spiders this time, but there was a bug on your desk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you sign us off, right?
Yeah,
'Cause,
so
we
you
take
started us.
turns.
So that means it gets to be me to sign us off.
Oh.
So,
Wait. First, I want to thank you guys for having me.
well, we want to thank you for joining because you were a fantastic guest. I was going to get to that in my conclusion, but
No, I thought we would
first.
just be like, oh yeah, bye guys.
Yeah.
bye everybody.
Yeah.
Nothing special happening here.
No, let me express my thanks, because I love your guys' podcast. I very much am a loyal listener. I am looking forward to the Patreon when you guys start it up. I will definitely subscribe. I tell all my friends about this podcast. Literally, I even told all of the liquor stores that I called about Wine Wordle and whatever. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a guest star on Wine Wordle and whatever," and so so like I was telling everybody about this podcast. And so thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this. It was as not as fun, more fun than I anticipated that it was going to be. So I
Well,
definitely appreciate it.
well, we went for like 3.5 hours, so
I know,
it
right?
was a lot of fun. Having a third host
Yeah.
really expands things. It was a lot of
It
fun.
does. It
Yeah,
does for sure.
I am really curious though. You did mention to the liquor stores you're gonna be
I
on the
did.
podcast. What were some of
I
the like? Mm-hmm.
they were like, "Oh." Like the ones that I called. The ones that I called were like, "Oh. Okay. Cool." Like they were taken aback and just like, what do we say to that?
Yeah, that
The liquor stores that I picked up the alcohol from, the wine from, I told them like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be a guest star on a podcast and like I'm picking up the wine for this." And they were like, "Wow, well shout us out then." So shout out to Anton Wines here in New York.
shout out to Anton Wines.
Yep, Anton Wines in Middletown. they man, they pulled through. They got me they like saved the Oregon wine and got me each a bottle and saved it behind the counter for me to pick it up. So, yeah,
To
they
the
were good
fine
looking out.
folks at Anton Wine, you all
Yep.
are the goats. Every one of
Yep.
you.
I just love the fact that we waited 3.5 hours into the podcast before giving them a shout as we're signing off.
It's
Oh, yeah.
probably for the best that we don't have actual sponsors.
We're like, oh yeah, I guess we should.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. This is
Great.
great. This is fantastic.
I
Well,
like to think
I
that
think
someone that works there is gonna listen to the whole thing. They're
Mhm.
gonna reach the end and
Mhm.
be like, yeah, that's what I said.
I helped
Right.
that lady. Let's go.
Yep. Yep.
Well, on that note, thank you all for listening to this likely two-part edition of Wine Wordle and whatever. It was a very eventful episode. We had
Yep.
2 wines, we had 3 hosts, and we had uncountable topics. It was a blast. Thank you, Venetia, for joining us for this very special
you.
episode. Thank you to Venetia for being a loyal listener. One
Of
of
course.
but a few. So, signing off for now. Thank you all.
All right. Bye.
Mhm. Stay whiny.
Stay away.